Gotten worse? What's the Vanguard?
Ursula Carlson, No Filters, brand new comedy.
Contracted early onset Karen.
Ursula, streaming now on ABC iView.
ABC Sport.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
A well-trodden path. Lockett, Hall, Franklin, and now Curnow. The grass is greener at the SCG.
Relax when it's the greatest. Don't get better than this.
On his left, he couldn't bang through a third, can he? You bet he can!
Hits from 45 on the run. And they've made it 6 in a row. What a goal. Nick Dacos takes the advantage, eyes the goals, and kicks it. DNA doesn't lie. Want it down. Sock it off the ground by Will Ashcroft. He's a freak. That is just that. Freakish.
Welcome to the 2026 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport. On radio, on digital, and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
A record equaling occasion at the MCG in round 9 of the AFL tonight. Collingwood legend Scott Pendlebury will equal Brent Harvey's all-time VFL AFL games record with his 432nd appearance at AFL level. His Magpie teammate Pat Lipinski also plays his 150th game at the top level, while Tom Stewart celebrates game 200 in the hoops for a player who didn't make his AFL debut until he was 24 years of age. As Darcy Moore leads the Magpies out onto the MCG, Scott Pendlebury with his couple of kids either side of him as he makes his way out onto the MCG. It's a big night for Pendlebury, but it's also a big night for Collingwood in what has become one of the great modern-day rivalries. The Pies haven't beaten Geelong since 2023, and Jack Crisp last year had the chance to try and secure a fairy tale finish in his record-breaking 245th consecutive AFL game, breaking the record held by Jim Steins. There's no late changes for tonight. Matt Clinch to call the action alongside Lauren Borden. Welcome to you, Loz.
Oh, hello, Clinchy. It's a fantastic occasion, this match, even, I guess, when you take out Scott Pendlebury from it. Just like you mentioned, last year's match with Jack Crisp having a shot after the siren, the preliminary finals, the grand finals that these two teams have played, and we'll celebrate Scott Pendlebury a lot across the next couple of weeks. But I do want to make mention of Tom Stewart. Like you said, he made his debut as a 24-year-old from South Barwon, Geelong through and through, I guess, a carpenter, and then got his chance with Geelong, became a premiership player and missed the grand final last year. But like Chris Scott said, he's probably one of the best players that has ever played his position, and what a player he's become for Geelong. So a big milestone for him tonight as well.
6 players have played over 400 games, and the man in which Scott Pendlebury joins tonight is Brent Harvey. We're privileged to say he's in our commentary box. Boomer, welcome to you. What sort of night is it for you?
Well, it's a mixed emotions, I guess you can say. And Loz, we had this conversation last week. I'm still going to beat a record for another 14 days because he's not playing next week either. So
no one's played more than you, Boomer.
Just even when he draws with me, I'm still the record holder. So I'm going to take count. We did it last week. We got about 6 or 7 mentions, and I want more tonight.
All right,
Loz. But no, look, it's a big night. To be fair, next week or whenever he plays the next game is going to be much bigger than this one. And I can only talk about the lead into my game when I equalled Michael Tuck's record to breaking Michael Tuck's record. The following game is going to be so much bigger for Scott and the Collingwood Football Club. But more importantly, the team part of it, it's going to be a ripper night. They're two good teams. We did the Cats last week against the Kangas, and I haven't seen the Pies play for a few weeks now, so I'm really interested to see how these two teams come together.
We'll expand more on the night and the occasion for you, Brent Harvey, and what it means to see Scott Pendlebury join you tonight. Alongside Boomer, Cal Sinclair is with you. Cal, welcome to you. Big day. We've been at Vic Park for the VFL, and here we are seeing Collingwood and Geelong in the AFL tonight. Great clash in prospect.
Thank you, Clinchy. I'm not going to say hello to you. I spent too much time with you today. Lauren, fantastic to see you. Boomer, congratulations, commiserations, all that sort of stuff. But I'm a little bit stressed, guys. There's a lot going on in the world at the moment, Lauren, as you know, globally and economically. But nothing stresses me out, Boomer, more than Mother's Day.
Yes.
I've been in a panic after.
Are you sorted?
I was in a panic today after VFL, after today's VFL match of Geelong v Collingwood. So anyway, I'm getting there. I couldn't be more rapt to be here. But both teams, look, they're in that sort of, where are Geelong sitting? They're seeing 6th on the ladder while Collingwood are 8th. But both are inside the 8. But they're in very, very different form, though, aren't they? Like Collingwood have suffered back-to-back defeats as injury mounts, while Geelong just feels like they're building momentum, Clinty. But pumped to see Scotty Pendlebury and how he goes about it today. It's an amazing effort, and there's no other place you'd rather be on a Saturday night than here at the MCG. Crowd's building. It's a very exciting atmosphere.
As the Cats make their way out onto the MCG, they've won the last 2 between these two sides, but they've actually won 6 of the last 8 since the 2020 semi-final. So it has been a happy occasion for Geelong, and Tom Stewart gets a couple of photos as he makes his way out onto the G. What a story it's been. 200 games, having made his debut in round 1 2017 as a 24-year-old, picked 40 in 2016 from South Barwon, where he's playing under Matthew Scarlett. He's a premiership player, a 2-time best and fairest, and a 5-time All-Australian. So one of the great interceptors of our game and of the generation which he's been a part of.
It's absolutely amazing story, isn't it? At 24 years old to come in and do what he's done, and not so much play 200 games, because I reckon there's been 190 really good ones in there. And we mentioned last week, any team that doesn't, or that does leave Tom Stewart spare down back, you're going to struggle to beat the Geelong Football Club. So again, we spoke about it last week. North Melbourne didn't really do too much around it, and we'll see if the Pies do the same tonight, because if he's the spare and they manipulate it really well, the Cats, they win more often than they don't.
I remember when he first came on the scene, it was like he'd played 100 games.
Yep, straight away.
It was actually incredible to see. And I reckon every single time we played Geelong, I never forget, John Longmire would literally have a circle around his magnet. Literally every single time we'd play them and saying, this guy is the key to beating Geelong. And you are right, Bremer. If he gets one little bit of leg rope in defence, he just absolutely hurts you. And that's what good defenders do, Quenchy.
So Sir Swamp Thing on Twitter tells us that he's the 5th player to reach 200 games, having not debuted before the age of 24 years of age. So it's rare for 5th player, for a mature age recruit to get picked up and play so consistently. So the teams are warming up. Boomer, just 1 or 2 on how tonight feels for you and the occasion for Scott Pendlebury. David King's been getting stuck into you on TV, saying you're shitty about having to share the record with Pendles. What's it been like the last 24 hours? Because you have had a 96 premiership reunion, which you won in the 2s that year, and a lot of your North Melbourne teammates around you.
Yeah, David King got up and spoke last night at the reunion and wanted everyone to wear black armbands for me, and it's just takes it over the top, David King. But no, he's actually give the old coach a bit of a cook during the week as well. So I did see an article that he put out there. But no, look, it's I don't know how I feel. Like I'm okay with it. Like nothing changes in my life, and it's good to have that sort of recognition. But if I'm going to live my life because I've played the most games of AFL football and want that recognition, I live a pretty vain sort of life. So we can run with the North Melbourne Games record holder, and nothing changes too much there. So I'm pretty happy. And you know what it does do, I've actually reflected to realise what I'd done. And I say selfish because in your preparation you do have to be selfish, Cal, when you're playing football, when you've had kids and the way you eat and the stuff you miss out on. And it makes you reflect and think, well, he's doing it as well. He must have been very similar in his preparation to how I went about it. So very thorough in the way he goes about it. So someone's going to break my record, and maybe someone will break his one day.
Speaking of having kids while you're playing, I didn't have children when I played at AFL level, but I don't think I actually could have done it, Brimmer. Yeah. So I actually think it's an incredible effort that you and Pendles have started families and played for as long as you did. I said to my dad, mate, I don't know how I could have done this, Dad. Like while I was playing, and he goes, mate, you probably would have had a better career.
Well, you can sneak off the night before the game. You can actually use it as an excuse. Yeah. I'm going to go sleep in the spare room because I just need that night's sleep. You know, this is my thing. So, no, it's certainly different when you got kids, but you got to have some good people around.
Well done, though, Boomer, mate. It's honestly, as a Nuffy Kangaroos fan growing up, and I kept a very close eye on you. Played against you a number of times, but to do what you did, and now watch Scott Pendlebury do it, you probably couldn't get a better bloke to obviously,
Yeah, you know what? If you're going to pick someone in the AFL, you're probably picking Scott to do it, and just the things you hear, the little things you hear that he does, and it's so consistent, and he's been a great player for so long. So I know there's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek with my old teammates and doing all that, but I'm excited to see how this. Well, I wish it was next week, to be honest with you. So it's over and done with, but the next fortnight, how it pans out.
So 6 players have played over 400 games in VFL, AFL history. Dustin Fletcher with 400, Kevin Bartlett with 403, Sean Burgon with 407. I don't think KB was all that thrilled when Michael Tuck broke his record, 426. He said, I'm still a 7-time premiership player when he broke that record at 37 years of age. And tonight, Scott Pendlebury, 38 years of age, joins Brent Harvey in his 432nd game. So it's a great occasion. Have you had any contact with Pendles throughout the week?
Nah, I have with the Collingwood Football Club, but not with Pendles to date. And I'll be heading down to, I don't know, what's their ground called now? Down where they train, the training base. I'll be heading down there Monday to do a couple of little things, and then I think they got something planned for game day in a couple of weeks as well. So we'll keep in contact with Collingwood, but not with Scotty just yet.
So Craig McRae has already outlined that it's unlikely he won't play against Sydney at the SCG on Friday night, and his milestone breaking game will be against the West Coast Eagles on a Saturday at the MCG. But onto the broader Boomer and Cal. He's 38 years of age, and Collingwood had the draw against Hawthorn last week. The Cats have got their own players who are so pivotal to them, trying to push back up the ladder and get to another grand final day. But how important is Scott Pendlebury to this current Collingwood midfield group?
Well, it adds depth, doesn't it? I mean, Nick Dacos clearly, I think, is the best player for Collingwood right now. Then you've got Josh Dacos and a few other guys go through the mid. But Scott, no one's gone near him for 3 years because Nick Dacos has been the best player in the competition pretty much. So I would have loved to have that privilege of having a tag go to Daniel Wells or something like that. But unfortunately for me, and fortunately for him, he's run around and he just does that corridor, that centre corridor, and the ball just finds him, or he finds the ball because he's very smart. He adds depth. That's what he does.
I can't comment on being tagged, Burma, but I will try and make comment on him. But I think the thing is he actually never wastes a possession. Like, you would never have thought that Pendles was amazing athlete, but he's not the most athletically gifted personnel you'd have out in the field. He's not overly explosive. You wouldn't say he's overly... he wouldn't be the fittest guy on the ground, but the pride that he takes in his body and his preparation. But for me, it's just his mind. Like, he makes really, really clean decisions, never, ever... He gets put under so much pressure, but just is able to handle it so much better than 99% of players out there in the competition. So be curious to see how his back end of the year goes. I think if Collingwood are in a good space and they're winning games, that probably helps him at his age. So it'd be interesting to see what decisions they do make with his future. But with his performance on Anzac Day only a few weeks ago, like, there'd be no reason why he probably couldn't go around again and see how he goes.
And without wanting to pick it as scab, Boomer and Cal, you do need the right coach. Craig McRae took on the job in 2022. Collingwood won the flag in 2023. So in his 5th season under Craig McRae, Scott Pendlebury's playing his 94th game tonight in 5 seasons. So he's been able to continue his career and still play a vital role in this Collingwood lineup at a time in which a lot of people probably thought at the changeover between Nathan Buckley and Craig McRae that maybe some of these players at the back end of their career need to retire. And of course, Nathan Buckley's in the Geelong coaching staff tonight. So those sort of crossroad moments throughout a career.
The reason he's been able to do this, Scott, is that he is the pin-up boy and the role model for preparation and care. Like, at his age, or at any age, but in particular at 38 years of age, like, your body is your business and your business is your body. There wouldn't be a player out there that prepares as well as him in the AFL. Like, you always see things, social media content of him in the off-season, Burma, always exploring different sports science techniques. He did a lot of plyotherapy work a number of years ago to assist with his knee, did a lot of jumping work to kind of make sure he had that explosive power still being maintained at that stage of his career. But he'd be an absolute sports scientist's dream to have as an athlete and have in your squad.
The big thing for me, he slows the game down when he gets to football. And he's got an uncanny ability to... He sort of holds the ball out and people get drawn to the ball and then he can bring it back, and he's just saved himself 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy the way he's done it. And Nick Dacos does as well, because he holds the ball out as well, but he's doing it 3 times the speed of Scott Pendlebury. It looks like he slows the game down.
Question for you, Burma. Have you seen a player, other than yourself, obviously, but have you seen a player who's better in traffic than Scott Pendlebury?
You're clutching at straws to find some, aren't you? Yeah. He's very good.
A record equaling night tonight. It's very fortunate that we have Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport alongside Cal Sinclair, Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden to call the action. Sitting in the front row for us tonight is Poppy Penny. Welcome to you, Poppy.
Thanks, Clinchy. It's a pretty nice night, actually. It was a bit of a grisly day in Melbourne, a bit of rain about, but fingers crossed mostly for me down here that does stay away. The ground is pretty wet, so there could be a little bit of messy footy. It's wet in the stands as well. It's 13 degrees, not too much wind about, an incredible crowd building. It's very, very very packed. Tom Stewart won the toss for Geelong, and they'll be kicking to the city end, which is the right of your radio dial. But it's beautiful down here for now, and the crowd is building very nicely.
Looking forward to your contributions throughout the night, Poppy. You can join us on the SMS 0437 774 774. As Rod from Box Hill has done, a massive shout out to Boomer. As I wanted to speak to you after today's game. You're a legend. Go Pies from the McArdle kids in the Kangaroo Island. And well done to Tom Stewart. That's from Laurel in Rushmore. A record equaling night for Scott Pendlebury as he joins Brent Harvey. Game 432. It's round 9 of the AFL. Geelong and Collingwood on ABC Sport.
Pendlebury will start in the middle. Cameron gets a tap down now for Collingwood. It pulls it down, and there's a possession for Pendlebury. Just shoves it on his boot and gets the ball to left half forward for his side. Long picks it up, hand pass to DeGoey. His hand pass smothered by Lawson, but DeGoey can pick it up, regather it, and chip it inside the left forward pocket. It falls to ground. It's picked up by Long. Hand passes it across to Chris, backwards towards DeGoey by hands. Hand pass to Scott Pendlebury. Weaves his way around. Hand passes it to Lipinski. He'll kick it to a hot spot forming at the top of the goal square. Connor O'Sullivan jumps in and intercepts the footy for Geelong. Just 35 seconds played in this opening term on ABC Sport.
And you hear the cheers as he switches it to Tom Stewart. Game 200 as he gets the hand pass away to Humphreys. Kicks up to Jeremy Cameron. He takes the mark at half back. The Geelong spearhead looks to poker kick into the middle of the ground where Zach Guthrie marks. Hand pass to the run of O'Connor. Runs his full measure and then kicks inside 50 to Neil. Beautiful transition for the Cats straight through the middle of the MCG.
Well, that's the money kick, isn't it? You drop your eyes and the forward's leading straight up at you. You just take a tiny bit of speed off and let the forward run in and do his work. And it was a beautiful kick going inside 50 then.
And Cameron able to help in the transition from half back. Shannon Neal with 18 goals for the season, kicked 3 against the Kangas last week and 2 against Port Adelaide in their loss a fortnight ago. From directly in front, just inside 50. Looking for the opening goal of the match. Shannon Neal comes in, strikes it. It's good off the boot. And kicks the opening goal of the match. Just misses to the right. Goal umpire stood there, watched it go and just clipped the wrong side.
Settle Clinchy.
Of the goalpost. It's going to be that sort of night. The Cats by a point after 90 seconds.
Dan Houston's got the kick-in duties for Collingwood. Puts this one off to left half back. Lipinski was there, but Lawson Humphreys gets in front of him. Fists it over the boundary for a throw-in.
It looks like Mullen going to Nick Dacos as well, so we'll keep an eye on that one throughout the night. He did a fantastic job on Harry Sheasel last week and then some really good numbers, so we'll keep you updated on that.
Got his niche as a tagger now, O'Shea Mullen, as the ball gets tossed in. DeGoey chasing after it, picks it up and funnels it out to Nick Dacos. Hand passes it to his brother Josh, who gets taken in the tackle by Manor. Just gets a hand pass out, but the ball ricochets back to Smith of Geelong. Chips it to Shannon Neal, who marks right on the pane of 50. Wants to slow things down. It doesn't look like he wants to take another set shot at goal.
No, he's got the distance in him. Bailey Smith just got a little bit angry at him for not giving that football, but I think I'd rather the big fella having a shot on goal than Bailey Smith on the run.
Almost feigned that off the hand pass there, Shannon Neal, but he will take a set shot at goal. He'll kick from about 51 metres out, 45-degree angle. This time, to put Geelong's first goal on the board. He squeezes it through for the opener. And Geelong strike first at the MCG on Saturday night. 1-1-7, the Cats. Collingwood yet to score. 3 minutes played in the opening term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair.
2 really good entries for Shannon Neal coming. There's not much as a defender you can do, but when it's coming in like that. But Bailey Smith might have been filthy. He didn't get the handball received, but what a kick it was from him under pressure and in traffic, just to sort of angle his foot to kick on the outside and just spot up Neal there. And that's exactly what you want as a key forward. Only 3 minutes 30 into the game, he's already got 2 shots on goal. Great for his confidence.
I'm going to call this pretty early in the game. I feel like Geelong are going to be dropping the eyes, Cal. I've already mentioned it once, and that's 2 balls to Neal, as you mentioned. It going inside 50, notoriously Collingwood play back shoulder, so it might be a ploy by Geelong really early.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Nick Dacos volleys it out of the middle of the ground up towards half forward. Lawson Humphreys got there ahead of Long. Hand pass chopped off by Quainer though for Collingwood. Hand pass away to Chris. Here's Pendlebury in game 432. Chips it up to DeGoey. An electric start last week against Hawthorn. Kicked 2 goals in the first quarter. Centres it to Jack Crisp. Directly in front, 40 metres out from home.
Just caught napping, weren't they, Boomer? We've pumped up Scott Pendlebury enough, but that was just a classic case of turning them inside out into traffic. But then just to find Chris there just exposed Geelong's defence, found some space, and they were all napping. And as soon as he took that mark, they were all sort of looking around at one another. Stewart absolutely dirty with the midfield.
At the last kick of the game when these two sides faced off 12 months ago, here he goes from directly in front, 48 metres out and misses to the right-hand side. Collingwood one behind, a Geelong 1-1-7. Of course, the Magpies conceded 62 inside 50s against Hawthorn last week, had just 34 themselves.
Max Holmes with the kick in. Probably best on ground last week, Boomer. You called it.
Yep, got the 3 votes.
Turned the game Geelong's way against the Cats. He chips it out to Stewart. He then goes further along down the line towards Dangerfield off hands and will be carried over the boundary for a throw-in. Right in front of the Geelong bench.
I think this is a good ploy by Geelong with Mullen on Dacos. I think he's still going to have 25 to 30 touches, Cal, but what they'll do, we've already seen, they're all going to be under pressure, and that makes a big difference.
Geelong ahead by a goal early stages of this match as Neil roves the footy and puts it down the wing towards Manor, who'll go chasing after it. He's got Howe at his tail. And we'll have a throw-in at half-forward for Geelong, kicking towards the city end of the MCG in this opening term. The Cats leading by 6 points, 5.5 minutes played.
And Reece Stanley comes in for his first game of the season, just waxing with Shannon Neal. He went forward a few moments ago and now back up to the ruck against Darcy Cameron. Cameron in front position, tries to slap it to the front. Ollie Henry slides in. De Goey lays the tackle, brought him down, no whistle. Ball comes clear. Crisp with a hand pass away to Lipinski. Releases Nick Dacos, kicks up to half forward. Kolajasny peels off Bullock, gathers for the Cats. Hand pass too slick for O'Sullivan. Elliott tries to get a little toe poke in there. Does so to McStay in the left forward pocket. Curls it on his left. Great finish. Something for Collingwood to build on with their first goal in the match. And we're locked up at 1-1-7 apiece. And Dan McStay, who only kicked the one goal last week but did present well, gets the Magpies opener. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport.
Well, Dacos had a mad dash coming out of that stoppage play. Didn't hit the target, but Kolajasny was very, very clean below his knees. But it just shows he just peppered that handball with far too much penetration and just put them under so much pressure. But I must say, the finish from McStay was outstanding. Interesting as well, watching Darcy Cameron. It seemed like the Collingwood have given him first crack at the ruck today. Last few weeks, Oscar Seen's been taking the new ball, but they've gone with Darcy this week to kick things off in the middle of the ground.
Just overcooked the handball, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just a silly error because Geelong were out.
And to be gentle.
So Cameron and Steen in the ruck. Cameron with a little tap down. It's picked up by Atkins of the Cats. His hand pass picked off by Crisp. Takes it. Hand passes it to Pendlebury, who flicks it back to Crisp. Still in the centre of the MCG. Crisp will put Collingwood inside forward 50. Goes over the back of a pack. McCreary can pick it up. Gets taken to the turf. Ball spills out. Holding the footy. Free kick, Zach Guthrie. And it'll be a Geelong free in defence. Scores are level here at the G. 1-1-7 apiece. 7.5 minutes played. It's Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
As Guthrie brings Geelong out of defence, up towards Ollie Henry, who went for a fly in the back of Houston. Couldn't come down with the footy. Jack Martin's hand pass to Cameron, back to Ollie Henry. He's away on the members' wing. He scrubs a kick inside 50, in which Frampton in front of Neal. Neither can get a disposal. Neal comes sliding in. Howe with the tackle. Spills out to close behind. Frampton lays the tackle. And then Shaun Manners on the very bottom of the pack. This is all in the right forward pocket for Geelong. The umpire circles. And we'll ball it up just 35 metres out from the Cats' goal. Heading to the city end in the opening term, 1-1-7 apiece. Neal and McStay, the goal kickers so far. Stanley wins down the tap, looking for Jack Martin, spills away from him. Lipinski hurries a kick up towards half-back. Jordan De Goey gets a hand pass away to Crisp, who releases with a hand pass to Elliott. His kick is a turnover. Kolajasny takes the mark on the members' wing.
Looks corridor and brings it inboard to Smith, who chips backwards towards Zach Guthrie. Just outside of defensive 50. His kick's able to find Holmes, although Schultz was close to him, didn't stand the mark, and that's a 50.
It's a big penalty for something so small, just a grab of the jumper.
Boomer might need a new pen. He just smacked that on the table.
Holmes wants to play on, meanwhile. He catches everyone off guard, and Martin was sitting in the forward 50 free, and he'll mark and have a set shot at goal from directly in front, 45 metres out for the Cats.
Seen more and more. I was at the Kangas and Sydney game today, and I've seen more and more people on the mark trying to draw that 50. So they shape, and we've seen Neil done it in the first 10 seconds here. They shape with the ball like they're going to give it off, hoping to shift the man on the mark. So, yeah, a lot of players trying to draw that 50 at the minute.
So Holmes gets the 50, finds Jack Martin from right in front of goal, puts this one towards goal. It's dead straight. And Jack Martin puts Geelong back ahead. 2-1-13. The Cats, Collingwood 1-1-7. 9 minutes played in the opening term. The Cats have a 6-point lead.
It's a really good observation, Boom. I know probably a tough one for the Collingwood defenders then, giving Max Holmes giving that 50-metre penalty, but that's 3 times they've gone inside 50 and been able to find a really, really simple mark. And it just feels like Collingwood defenders they're really, really caught on the back foot there. There's a massive gap between whoever's taking that mark and whoever's defending. So really, really got to tighten up. Interesting watching them in the VFL today. You are right, they did get exposed a little bit by the Geelong VFL team doing that, so perhaps that is a tactic of the Geelong coaching staff going in this week.
He's an amazing addition, isn't he, Jack Martin? That's his 10th goal for the year. They just find him, the Cats. They find good players.
Averaged 13 disposals and 12 goals last season, featuring in the grand final. Back in the middle of the ground. Chance for Anderson to try and get it away to Nick Dacos. He's tackled by Warple and Atkins, and the umpire will ball it up. So O'Shea Mullen alongside Nick Dacos. Held him to just 28 disposals when they last met. Dacos was clamped to just 3 in the final quarter. Dempsey tries to clear for Geelong, only as far as Jordan De Goey, who kicks a bouncing ball up towards half forward. Kolodjasny leads ball to the footy. Can't get a disposal away. Hand pass came out from Bowes. It's chopped off by McCreary of Collingwood. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. Kicks up to De Goey. He's once more having an impressive start. Edge of the centre square. Searches for McStay. Wrestling with O'Sullivan and gets rid of him. And the Collingwood forward takes the mark in the right forward pocket.
He just looks too strong, McStay, for O'Sullivan, didn't he? Really pushed him away like he was a little boy then. So much bigger.
It was a terrific kick by De Goey. McStay just had O'Sullivan right in that perfect position, just wedged him under it.
The ACL in 2024, featured in the 18 games last year, and this shot on goal as he curls it around his body, hits the post. Into the right goal post, about 3/4 of the way up. So he's imposing early. Geelong leading by 5 points. 2-1-13 to Collingwood, 1-2-8.
Max Holmes runs in doing the kick-in duties and then kicks out towards a pack. Houston sits back easily, intercepts it for the Pies. Just forward of centre wing. Launches his kick on his boot to a hot spot deep inside forward 50. No mark can be taken by Buller. Spills out the back. It'll be picked up by Warren Steele. Hand passes it to Elliott. Hand passes backwards to Josh Dacos, who'll try and curl this one towards goal. And he's got it. A nice looking kick from Josh Dacos. The intercept coming from Houston. And now the Pies are back ahead. 1 point their advantage. 2-2-14 Geelong, 2-1-13. 12 minutes ticked over in the opening term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your ABC Sport experts, Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair.
Well, it was an interesting choice, Cal, from Max Holmes in that kick out then, because they had players to his left. They were set up that way, and he came out to when he went left, there was nothing there that he liked. So he actually came back to the right and fell. Well, the kick was 5 metres short. It was a 2-on-1. They boxed the Geelong player out and got another inside 50. So Max Holmes probably could have ran with the ball and taken the game a little bit more on. But beautiful finish there. Josh Dacos, just class, isn't it? If Nick doesn't get you, Josh will get you.
He's been such an explosive player across half-back to Koenig into the ruck. Spills down the way of Atkins. So Geelong almost playing with 3 rucks. Kick partially smothered. Pendlebury's hand pass chopped off by O'Shea Mullen. Hand pass to Max Holmes. He flukes the hand pass out towards Manor. Was taken high. Manor doesn't want the advantage. So we'll come back to the middle of the ground. Or will it? Yes, it will. As Holmes had pushed forward from where the free kick was. Now he has to come behind Jordan De Goey to take the free kick. Where do you see players not want to take the advantage? Most are pretty keen. Holmes up towards half forward. Spots O'Shea Mullen. Nick Dacos nowhere to be seen. From 52, loads up, sends it long to the goal square. Big rise from Ollie Henry. Can't take the mark. Side bottoms there. Top of the goal square for the Cats. He's tackled and brought down. Josh Dacos tries to lock it in. The numbers dive on top, and the umpire will ball it up. Top of the goal square for Geelong, with the Pies leading by a point.
Ollie Henry almost took that, and I'm just watching the work of Darcy Moore, just not putting any body on him at all. And that's one of Darcy Moore's criticisms at the moment, doing his work early and putting body on, so there's no opportunity for a mark like to be taken.
Neil taps it down. Houston sharked it. Hand passed it away. Close took it. His kick then was partially smothered, and everyone dives on top of the footy. And we'll have another ball up right at the top of the attacking goal square for the Cats. It's a dangerous zone here for Geelong as Neil palms it down towards Manor. He tries to put a kick towards goal. There's plenty of players surrounding the footy. It comes off him. And it's pushed across the line by Oscar Steen two-handedly. A few Geelong players want to deliberate, but it'll just be a behind for Geelong. Scores will be back tied, 2-2 apiece, 14 minutes played in the first.
And Nick Dacos doing what every good player who's getting tagged does, go and takes the kick out and just get a little extra stack, because that man on the mark, he can't do nothing, Cal.
Sounds like you know from experience.
Position number 4 for Nick Dacos. Kicks up to half-back and Buller takes the mark. Gives it back to Nick Dacos. So up to 5 all of a sudden. Oscar Steen's the target. Can't take the mark with Stewart making the spoil. Comes down towards Ollie Dempsey. He hacks it up the wing, and that'll be a last touch lasso free kick. So Dacos will get another disposal here. Jordan Ngoe leads the way with 9. Jack Crisp with 7 for Collingwood, while Holmes with 4 for the Cats. Dacos looks to come inboard. Jeremy Howe marks. 3 inclusions alongside McCreary and Pendlebury for the Magpies tonight. Spots Jamie Elliott free on the wing. He takes the mark and plays on. He's got Buller leading to half forward. He leads up and marks on his chest. He's still 55 metres out from home, though, at the punt road end. As he looks for option short, Schultz is the target. Can't take the mark. Spoiled away by Guthrie. Slaps it into the path of Dempsey. Gets the hand pass away, and the Cats can link up out of defence.
It's taken by close. Hand passes it out to Dempsey. He puts the kick right down the wing. Working in a 1-2. It's Manor with Cameron. He dabs the kick inside forward 50. Of course, it's Neil on the end of it. Takes the mark. Wants to kick it into the left forward pocket because Henry's standing there all alone. And now Ollie Henry will have a set shot at goal. The former Pie. It's a tough angle. He's about 25 metres out.
Well, it's just a dangerous spot, Boomer, for Schultz to turn that footy over. Trying to do the right thing, but at the end of the day, probably going to the top of the square is the most important thing you could have done.
Ollie Henry with the snap, and Ollie Henry with the goal. Played 25 games for the Pies before crossing to Geelong to join his brother, and back in the region where he grew up. And it means that Geelong's lead is now out to 6 points again. 3-2-20, Collingwood 2-2-14. 16 minutes have ticked over in this opening term. It's round 9 at the MCG, Geelong and Collingwood on ABC Sport.
So, Cal, this is where I think you can get Geelong, and you called it perfect. It's a really bad part of the ground that turned the ball over, 55-60 out. He went for the short pass. Guthrie was in amazing position where he was ready to go. They pounced on it and they transitioned that ball very, very, very easily. 2 or 3 really good kicks, and then Henry out the back on his own. I really believe that's where you can get the Collingwood Football Club, because they press so hard and they set up. So well done, Geelong. Good ball movement.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sports. Steen gets it down to Pendlebury. Hand pass to Nick Dacos inside 50. Didn't suit long, but he spalls away from Guthrie. Then lays the tackle on O'Sullivan. Spills out towards the boundary line. Stewart overran it. Dempsey has another go at it, trying to get it back to Tom Stewart. And in game 200, he's tackled over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Well done to Ned Long there, but Guthrie was about to gobble that up. But just shows, Boomer, when you put in just a little bit of extra effort, there's effort and there's real effort. And Ned Long completely did that, and it was outstanding. Just got a fist in there, and now there's an opportunity inside forward 50.
Collingwood on top in the clearances, 7-3. As Cameron gets it down to the front, Warple can't gather. Quainer inside 50. Stewart rises and takes the mark against Ned Long. Immediately bounces to his feet and switches across half-back. O'Sullivan plays on. Hand pass a little loose for Bailey Smith. Turns it over. Houston puts a block on there. McCreary gathers. Hand pass to Maynard for Collingwood. Up towards half-forward, and Oscar Steen marks. He thought about the short pass to Crisp. Now goes for the pocket to go. He's outnumbered 2-on-1. In the end, it's balled out by Stewart and Guthrie for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the Magpies at the punt road end. It's Geelong who lead by 6 points.
But why didn't he just run into goal then? So he marked the ball 55 out and no Geelong player manned the mark. He could have ran to 45 metres and kicked the goal then.
Kicked to a 4-on-1.
So it's Cameron doing the ruck work now in the forward 50. As it's Guthrie who takes it, hand passes it out to Smith. He just wants to clear it out of defence for the Cats. It'll find its way to centre half back. There's a whistle on play. And it's going the way of the Cats and to Ollie Henry. The most recent goal kicker of tonight. Standing at centre half back. Takes his free. Chips it out to Warple. Hand passes it across to Mullen, who will put the kick inside forward 54. The Cats at the back is Josh Dacos. Read it best. And sits back and takes an uncontested intercept mark. Flares it out wide and chips out to Steele Sidebottom.
The voice of Lauren Borden alongside Matt Clinch calling the action. Boomer Harvey, Cal Sinclair and Poppy Penny with you on ABC Sport. Tanner Bruin takes it back for the Cats. Hand pass to O'Connor. Beautiful kick into the pocket. And Brad Close had a couple of metres on Sidebottom. Thought about centering it to Martin. Decides against that. Hemmed in against the boundary in the left forward pocket.
Yeah, Josh Dacos switched the ball to side bottom and he went to play on and Geelong was set up very, very well behind the football. He had nowhere to go.
Marks inside 50. I think that'll be 6-3 this quarter. Certainly finding opportunities, Geelong.
3 goals of the season for Brad Close. This will take his best. It's a great effort from the left forward pocket. And in the trademark long sleeves, he finishes with a classic from deep in the left forward pocket. The Cats once more wrestle an advantage, and it's a 12-point lead, the biggest of the match so far. 4-2-26 to Collingwood 2-2-14. The Cats with the last 2 goals of the match. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport.
It's the visual set up behind the ball, Cal, isn't it?
Yeah.
He looked up, side bottom looked up, and there was 3 Geelong players outside their opponent. He just had absolutely nowhere to go. Scrub a kick, ball goes back inside 50.
And this is the thing with Collingwood, with how they play. If they're going to push their players up so high up the ground, your reaction time has to be absolutely on in order to get back, because you're just leaving yourself absolutely exposed. And you pointed it out perfectly. There were 3 guys getting done right out the back, literally with no one around them. So it's all well and good to play up high, but you've got to make sure your reaction time is on point.
Along with consecutive goals for the first time tonight, is from the middle. Smith chasing after it, can take it, hand pass it to Warple, flicks it across to Humphries, who darts the kick out wide. Connor O'Sullivan can't quite juggle the mark, spills it at the last second, and back to his Bowes. He goes back in after it though, sliding on the ground, can take it, hand pass it to Smith. Hand pass it back to Humphries, who kicks Geelong to right half forward. Dangerfield's there. Maynard comes in, taps it over the boundary for a throw-in at half forward for the Cats. So 82,500 were here last time these two sides met. And Jack Crisp had a shot after the siren, but the Cats won by 3 points after he missed. And a very big crowd in at the G tonight. It's tossed back in. Stanley gets a tap away to Warple. Hand pass to Bruin. He darts the kick inside forward 50, just falls short of Neal, bashes it away to Dangerfield. He shrugs the tackle, gets a hand pass away. Neal goes in after it. Pendlebury's there as well. In the end, it falls down to Henry. He snaps toward goal and he misses. He just misses off to the left-hand side. So not another goal for Henry, just a minor score. Geelong Cats lead out to 13 points.
As Maynard quickly brings Collingwood back into play, finds Josh Dacos in the back pocket. Kicked Collingwood's last goal. As he looks to direct a bit of traffic from the right back pocket. Sends it high and long up the wing. Oscar Steen's the target. Pulled away from behind by O'Sullivan. Down to the front. Steen tries to get a hand pass away. Chopped up by Warple. Swings it around his body inside 50. Bounce eludes Bruin. Knocking it on Stanley. The ruck tries to dribble it, and Ollie Henry's going to do the rest. He dribbles it through for his second. And the Cats are off to the fast start. Geelong lead by 19 points. 5-3-33 to Collingwood 2-2-14, and Ollie Henry against his former side is off and running.
Bit of chaos ball there, wasn't it? There was a bit of Richmond about it a few years ago when they were winning their premierships, where not taking possession of the ball, just knocking it on, surging on by hand and foot and getting the ball going close to goal. And when you're a crafty forward like Henry, you read the play a little bit quicker than your opposition, and he did that on that occasion, socked one out from 3 or 4 metres.
It just shows that style of play at some stage of the game does actually work and puts the defence under a significant amount of pressure. But I just think I just want to applaud the amazing footwork of Reece Stanley there, Brennan. Just thought he was outstanding.
I thought he stumbled over the ball there.
That together.
Cal, but
back in the middle, Pendlebury soccers it away. It'll work for Schultz, who gathers and hand passes it back to Pendlebury. Hand pass to Crisp, flicks it across to Elliott. He hand passes across to Crisp, left half forward. Darts the kick inside forward 50. Good sight to find Long. He pulled the kick, Long marks, and then he'll drop it into the left forward pocket where Buller will hold on to the grab.
I don't know if that decision to kick to Buller was the right one. He's probably in a worse position to try and score. I thought he had a pretty good opportunity and the angle he was already on, but either way, he could make it look foolish after potting him, but it's a very difficult angle.
Interesting choice of kick too. Most players in this spot would go the right foot snap.
Coming in for the drop punt. 30 metres out, but a very tight angle. He starts outside the boundary line. Jack Buller runs in to thread this through the goal. What a finish from Jack Buller. Shouldn't have doubted him at all. He puts through his first for tonight and cuts back Geelong's advantage to 13 points. Collingwood 3-2-20, Geelong 5-3-33. 24 minutes played in this opening term.
Well, it's all about knowing your teammates. Just give it to the better kicks.
He flushed that.
Who can kick, drop, punch from row 3?
He completely flushed that.
Unbelievable. It didn't look like missing. We had the perfect... We are right behind Buller then kicking that goal. We had the perfect view, and it did not look like missing once it left his bootlace.
It was like Rory McIlroy off the tee with the driver. Yes.
It's beautiful to watch, wasn't it?
Crisp.
Second goal for the season for the West Australian former Swan. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. Nick Dacos came off and Mullen followed him. They are interchanging one for one at the minute. That tag is tight.
Mullen has 5 disposals. Nick Dacos has the 5 as well. Back in the middle of the ground, no stoppage. Clearance there, and Scott Pendlebury will give the ball back to the umpire. So Crisp seems to be alongside Bailey Smith. Warple running alongside DeGoey here. Ball spills down. DeGoey gets a hand pass away to Josh Dacos. Hand pass in Hope. Stewart over around the footy in the middle of the ground. Ned Long's hand pass chopped off by Stewart for Geelong. Hand pass out to the wing for Dempsey. Draws an opponent. Gives it back to Stewart in game 200. He chips it out to Warple, who's running into space. And he takes the mark, centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. Looks up towards Dangerfield. Works Howe underneath the footy. Can't take the mark. Moore has a fumble trying to gather it for Collingwood. Dangerfield knocks it out to Atkins. He's tackled by DeGoey. And the umpire will ball it up at left half forward for the Cats. Geelong 5-3-33 to Collingwood 3-2-20. Time on in the opening term on ABC Sport.
13-point lead to Geelong as Warple takes it out and puts the Cats back inside 50. Martin was holding on to Scott Pendlebury. And he gets the free kick. Game number 432. Holds on to it in the defensive 50. And then just chips it across to DeGoey. Retreating into the right back pocket for Collingwood.
It's his 11th disposals for DeGoey. He's been a really good contributor early.
Puts this one right down the wing. Cameron came flying in from the back. Couldn't take the mark. Brought it to ground for Elliott, whose hand pass is then picked off by Stewart. And he's taken over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in outer side of the ground, right at centre wing. Geelong ahead by 13 points. 26 minutes played in this first term.
Getting plenty of ruck time, Cameron. I thought earlier in the week, McRae was saying his body's a little bit banged up, but no mercy. He's started the game really well.
Struggled to finish the game against Hawthorn last week with a knee and an ankle concern, but seems to be okay. Crisp for Collingwood. Hand pass to DeGoey to Long. Look out. O'Connor coming the other way. Got it to Elliott. Now releases Crisp. He gets inside 50. Search and kick for Schultz. Humphreys makes the spoil. Races after it. Little fumble from Lawson Humphreys and then slaps it over the boundary line. That has to be deliberate. And the Collingwood Army will enjoy that despite it being a Geelong home game. Schultz gets the nod and will get the free kick in the left forward pocket. Only about 20 metres around from goal.
If I'm Angus Anderson, I'd be going in a quarter time going, are you guys not even seeing me out there? There's been about 3 times, Boomer. He's literally...
3 quick steps from Schultz. He tries to curl around his body. Misses near side of the left.
You're talking about Jack Crisp?
Yes.
I think he had the football and he was standing in the middle of the oval all by himself. I totally agree.
Holmes' kick, one bounces it gets to Stewart. He keeps it in play and will kick along the southern wing of the G, right down to a pack. Punched away by Frampton, falls into the lap of O'Connor. He's being trailed by Long, who holds on to him, just gets a hand pass away. Neil picks it up, his hand pass a turnover. Frampton easily picked that one off. Hand pass to Lipinski, who darts the kick across to Nick Dacos, running forward into forward 50. He saw him and he put it right in front of him for Dacos to run onto and mark.
That's one of the best kicks I've seen. I don't know if he meant that, but if he did, the vision there just to spot Dacos at the corner of his eye and just to put it beautifully, coming back with the flight actually, Boomer, and to find that space. This would do wonders for Dacos. Getting a hard tag, just take the wind out of the sails of his tagger if he can put this one through.
Dacos in his red boots, kicking from 50 metres out. Puts this one towards goal. It's offline for a minor score. It's Geelong's advantage cut back to 11 points. 28 minutes played on ABC Sport. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
O'Shane Mullen is on the bench watching that happen. He had his head in his hands as Nick Dacos took that mark.
Holmes kicks Geelong back into play. Missed Warple. Quainer takes the intercepting mark inside 50. Buller racing back to goal. Connor O'Sullivan takes the mark for the Cats. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. With the headband on, he kicks out towards half-back. Warple slides in and gathers the footy. Kicks up to Shannon Neal. He leads up centre of the wing. Might give it to Ollie Dempsey, who's running boundary side. He's corralled by Cameron, one way then the other. That's Darcy Cameron. He chips it up the wing, and Reece Stanley takes the mark. First game for him in season 2026. Harks out to the right, drives it inside 50. Martin leans back, can't take the mark as Darcy Moore makes the spoil. Josh Dacos comes racing in. He's dumped by Ollie Henry. And the two tangle over the boundary line. A throw in the left forward pocket for the Cats. Geelong by 11 points. Collingwood the last two scores of the match. Both have been behinds. It's an arm wrestle of an opening term with a crowd of over 80,000 expected at the MCG tonight.
Chilly night in Melbourne after Poppy said a few showers today as well means the ground's a little damp as the ball gets tossed in. Darcy Cameron puts it down and it's a pack that'll form around Bo McCreary, who takes the footy for the Pies, and we'll have another ball up left forward pocket for the Cats. Again, Darcy Cameron taps this one away. Moore can pick it up, hand passes it in the direction of the boundary line, and Dempsey's there to meet it and carry it over, and we'll have a throw in. So ball locked inside forward 50 for the Cats. They're leading by 11 points. 5-3 playing 3-4. Late stages of the first term. It'll be Darcy Cameron and Shannon Neal in the ruck again. Cameron can almost get a tap away towards Warple. The ball spills out the back. Martin has it. Cameron does the tackling on him. It'll be a free kick and the ruck for Collingwood wins it. Darcy Cameron's been involved in all of the play for the last 2 minutes or so. He earns himself a free kick. Geelong ahead by 11.
Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Meanwhile in Darwin, it's the Saints who lead by a point over the Gold Coast Suns. We'll try and keep you across that throughout the night's second quarter action. Up to the wing, Steen takes the mark. So the two big men combining. Warm your heart, Cal Sinclair. As Oscar Steen has it. He points in the direction in which he intends to kick it long down the line. Buller will be the target. In front to Koning. Palm down to the front. Schultz tries to knock it on for Collingwood. Got it to DeGoey. Underground hand pass to Long. Tries to break away from Lawson Humphrey. His hand pass is a turnover. O'Sullivan a little slow. McCreary makes the tackle. Hand pass back to Dempsey. In the back pocket for Geelong. Hand pass away to Bowes. Hurries a kick out of defence, but straight to Josh Dacos. Collingwood take it back at right half forward. Geelong by 11 points.
Yeah, Bowes went back in the traffic there. He had the switch on play. I think it was Max Holmes who wanted the ball going on the open side. Probably should have given that one too.
Short from Josh Dacos to Steele Sidebottom, playing across half-back this afternoon. The 35-year-old just sends it into the pocket, looking for Buller or Darcy Cameron. Cameron in the back, can't take the mark. Bowes just bangs it out of defence, up towards O'Sullivan. Wrestling with Sidebottom. Now the ball hits the deck. Josh Dacos slides in, tackled by O'Sullivan. Hand pass looking for brother Nick. It stays in. No. Boundary umpire has the hand up, and it's going to be a lasso free kick going the way of the Cats at half-back.
It could be best on ground, Darcy Cameron. He's had about 3 or 4 really good looks at it in the air. If he just clunked that one, would have been a terrific start for him, considering he's under a little bit of an injury cloud.
It's the reigning best and fairest as well at Collingwood. Kick comes down the line, and it's Howe who chops it off. Centre wing, perhaps some time for Collingwood to score a late goal in this first term. The kick goes inside forward 50. No mark can be taken. And that'll be the siren 2 mark at the end of the first quarter here. Round 9, Geelong and Collingwood at the first change. It's Geelong leading by 11 points. So they went goal for the first 4 goals, these two sides. Then Geelong put 3 on in a row. And then a goal to Jack Buller for Collingwood brought back the margin to 13 points, and it's just further been cut back with a couple of behinds to 11 points at quarter time. The Cats 5-3-33, Collingwood 3-4-22. Goal kickers so far tonight. Ollie Henry's had a couple of goals in that first term. Shannon Neal, Jack Martin and Brad Close with singles for Geelong. While for Collingwood, it's singles to Jack Buller, Dan McStay and Josh Dacos.
Well, in Darwin tonight, it's the Gold Coast Suns taking on the Saints, and the Suns lead by 5 points. 6-3-39 to St Kilda, 5-4-34. All individual goal kickers for the Gold Coast Suns, so 6 individual goal kickers, while Darcy Wilson has kicked a couple for the Saints. Earlier today, it was Sydney who defeated North Melbourne by 8 points. The Kangaroos tried to come charging home in the final term, but a 6th straight win for the Swans as they reclaim top spot on the ladder. Isaac Heaney got the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year, while the Giants withstood the Bombers by 14 points at the Sydney Showgrounds, despite the Bombers leading by 15 points at halftime and 8 points at three-quarter time. The Giants booted the last 4 goals of the match to finish with a 14-point victory, although Archie Roberts got the 3 votes in the ABC Football of the Year for his 42 disposals for the Bombers. You can get in touch with us on the SMS 0437 774 774. As Joanna in Spain has done, go Pies and go Pendles. It's the Cats who lead by 11 points. This is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your documentary fix on ABC iView.
We have an industry that's just running riot.
Like Sean McAuliffe's Going for Broke.
Last spin, come on.
Todd Sampson's Why.
The best things in life are on the other side of fear.
And more. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Paula Jasny peels off Buller, gathers for the Cats. Hand pass too slick for O'Sullivan. Elliott tries to get a little toe poke in there. Does so to McStay in the left forward pocket. Curls it on his left. Great finish. Something for Collingwood to build on.
Launches his kick on his boot to a hot spot deep inside forward 50. No mark can be taken by Buller. Spilled out the back. It'll be picked up by Warren Steele. Hand passes it to Elliott. Hand passes backwards to Josh Dacos. Will try and curl this one towards goal. And he's got it.
Steen tries to get a hand pass away, chopped off by Warple, swings it around his body inside 50, bounce to Lutz Bruin, knocking it on Stanley, the ruck tries to dribble it and Ollie Henry's going to do the rest. He dribbles it through for his second, and the Cats are off to the fast start.
Chris flicks it across to Elliott, he hand passes across to Chris, left half forward, darts the kick inside forward 50, good sight to find Long. He pulled the kick, Long marks, and then he'll drop it into the left forward pocket where Buller will hold on to the grab. He starts outside the boundary line. Jack Bullock runs in to thread this through the goal. What a finish from Jack Bullock.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
3 changes of the lead in that opening quarter. Geelong lead by 11 points at quarter time on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. The Cats 5-3-33 to the Magpies 3-4-22. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and the man in which Scott Pendlebury equals the AFL VFL Games record. Boomer Harvey with you on ABC Sport.
Well, the Pies 16 inside 50s. I thought they were peppering Geelong and only managed to score to 3 goals, which they'll probably be a little bit disappointed with in the end because they had a lot of the play, Cal, and to Geelong's credit, they held up defensively. And you go up the other end for 12 inside 50s and 5 goals for the Cats. So the concern for Collingwood is when they do turn the ball over on their half-forward line, Geelong's half-back line, the easy transition that Geelong was be able to take the ball full length of the ground without Collingwood really impacting. And twice out of the 5 goals, we've seen them get really easy ones out the back. So I think that's something that Collingwood will need to look at, whether it's not the mids not working back hard enough, or it's the defenders playing in front and getting caught behind. So you mentioned it. When you play that game style, you've got to have a reaction that's super quick. And if you're a half a second off, a team like Geelong, who's got great speed on ball, can get you out the back every time.
But also the ball carrier for Geelong at that point in time has to make really good decisions. We saw Schultz make a really, really tough decision, try to spot something up in the goal zone, and they got absolutely exposed on the fat side. And I think it was Henry that finished off the good work. But I think it's just interesting watching the personnel from Geelong's forward line and Collingwood's forward line. Collingwood don't have a real genuine sort of key forward, so when they go inside 50 they kind of can't kick and hope. They really rely on Oscar Steen and Darcy Cameron having to do a fair bit of work rate to sort of get down there. If they don't have that, they've got to kind of find little spot ups. They've got to be really, really clinical with how they go sort of inside 50, whereas probably Geelong, they've got that luxury of Neil and Henry's been absolutely terrific overhead at the early part of this game. So they're probably, as the game goes on, I just think the key position players will play more of a role as both teams get a little bit tired. But probably in the midfield battle, look, hit-outs are 15-6, clearances 11-8 in favour of Collingwood. Collingwood are dominating the centre clearances 5-2, but overall stoppage clearances they're even. So it's, the contest is going well in there. Dacos is starting to get a little bit off the leash with 9 disposals. Had a nice shot on goal, unfortunately missed it.
Yeah, so he's had the 8 or 9 disposals, Nick Dacos, but I don't see any clear possession. Most times when I watch him, he doubles up possession. He gets the football. He's got 3 or 4 seconds to make up his mind. I like the tag. I said at the start of the game, I still think he's going to have 25, 30 touches. Yeah. It's if you can negate him really using that football, it puts an enormous amount of pressure on the other Collingwood mids.
And it's also a question of their depth in that midfield as well. If he is not dominating Pendlebury, you can't just rely on Pendles every single week. So if Nick Dacos isn't actually doing the job in there, respectfully, I mean, what other depth they have? Angus Sandra is probably having a really great start to his career. Probably unfair to ask him to sort of step up. Maybe still side bottom can come in there. DeGoey, as you've just pointed out on the monitor, has actually had a pretty good start to the game.
He's more of a higher half forward though, isn't he? He's a high half forward that works super hard to get up on the football.
13 disposals for Jordan DeGoey. Shannon Neal with 4 marks. As we get the second quarter underway, Stanley rises and wins down the tap. Got it to Bailey Smith, back to Reece Stanley. Kicks inside 50, Dangerfield leads up, can't take the footy. Howe hurries it back to Moore, almost panic. Neal slaps it towards the goal mouth and it's rushed through by Dan Houston. Geelong's leaders 12 points inside the opening 20 seconds of the second quarter.
That's the critique on Howe. He just needs a little bit cleaner with his hands. I know there's a little bit of congestion around him, but he'd rather get caught holding the footy rather than coughing it up, Bremer.
Correct.
Houston thumps this one on his boot to get it to a pack outside defensive 50. Guthrie brought it to ground. DeGoey picked it up though for the Pies. Hand pass to Crispy, flicks it across to Steele, who hand passes it around to Long, running down the boundary line on the broadcast side. We'll chip this one inside forward 50, and here is Jack Buller who marks.
He's having the bounce of the ball to go. You can just sort of tell tonight.
He's going to have a shot. It was in row 3 last shot. It was in row 4 this shot. So and a little bit further out, Cal.
It was excellent use of body, though, wasn't it, on Sullivan? Just read it beautifully. The kick was centimetre perfect in respect to the late Dennis Cometti.
Yes.
What's Jack Buller got for us tonight? He's kicked a beauty in the first quarter. This one from 50 metres out. It's a tough angle. Will it make the distance? Not quite. It's kept in until it's rushed over, and Max Holmes will take this one. So just a minor score there for Jack Buller. Geelong's lead is 11 points. Just a minute or so played in this second term.
Cats bring it back into play from Max Holmes. Into the back pocket for Tom Stewart. Game 200. Kicks up towards Collar Jasny. He wrestles against Houston and claims enough of the mark. Hand pass away to Guthrie. Veers out to the right. From half back to half forward. It won't get to the intended target in manner. And intercepted by Billy Frampton. He's got the job on Shannon Neal tonight. To Howe through the middle of the ground for Maynard. Gets the hand pass away to Lipinski. High kick looking for Elliott. Tried to use his body against O'Sullivan, but then slipped over. Stewart comes charging in. He lost his footing, but got a hand pass away to Holmes. Over the top to Humphreys. To Dangerfield, who tries to fend off Quainer. Did he fend off high? Umpire waves play on. Hand pass back to O'Connor for the Cats on halfback. Chips it up the wing. Looking for Max Holmes. Crisp makes the spoil for Collingwood. Close regathers for the Cats. Hand pass away to Dempsey. Kicks up towards Tanner Bruin. Sidebottom makes the spoil. Dangerfield just palms it to his own advantage. He gathers it half forward. Hand pass to Jeremy Cameron. Gave it to Manor in the pocket. Looks towards the goal square. Muttons the target. Great work. Getting back. Rowan Steele knocks it through. And through for a boundary throw in. Just to the left-hand side of the left behind post for a throw-in. Geelong by 11 points. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Ollie Henry came off straight after quarter time and was straight in the hands of the physios, having his left hip worked on. He's just trying to stretch it out now after having 2 physios look at it basically since quarter time finished.
Ball tossed in, comes down to a pack. It's Maynard who picks it up, hand passes it to Steele. Chris tries to flick it away to Elliott, doesn't quite work for him. Zach Guthrie comes in, trying to pull it out. Elliott goes in again, can get a little kick out to Buller. His hand pass blindly falls in the hands of Zach Guthrie, who hand passes it to Smith. Hand pass to Mullen, inside forward 50 for Geelong. His hand pass in the end is ripped out of Mannor's hands by Houston, who moves it across to Nick Dacos, and he'll curl this one right down the wing, right into the hands of Collar Jasny. Standing at the drop of the ball, marks and chips it out to Martin. It's hit the turf before he marked, maybe?
Oh,
no?
I agree with you, Loz. I don't think that was a mark.
The umpire was maybe behind him, didn't see that, and he gets paid the mark. And then chips it to O'Connor, who marks inside the centre square of the MCG. Just chips it out to Jeremy Cameron, half forward for the Cats. Puts this one inside forward, 50, Bruin. Stuck his hands up, gripped it, and takes the mark.
It's an unlikely candidate to take that mark inside 50, Bremer. Very disappointing from Collingwood there. They literally had all 18 players on the ground basically in their defensive 50, and for Cameron to find Tanner Brewer, whether he did it intentionally or not, is to be debated. But that was a very, very great kick, or a very lucky kick. I'm not sure which way to go.
Not sure it was meant for Tanner Bruin, but he's got the set shot at goal from about 35 metres out. 45-degree angle. Tanner Bruin puts this right across the face of goal and doesn't even register a score. That's out of bounds on the ball.
That's harder to do than not do, I think it is. And no, the kick certainly wasn't for Tanner Bruin. It was for Dempsey, who was on a fantastic lead and going at full power. Maybe he should have left it for his better kicking teammates.
6 behinds for Tanner Bruin this season. Has had his problems in front of the big sticks. Darcy Moore kicks Collingwood up towards half-back. Martin just sockers it away for Geelong and then lays the tackle with Tom Stewart. Ned Long has wedged in between those two. The ball up in front of the Geelong bench with the Cats leading by 11 points. 3 lead changes through the opening quarter. Same margin as it was at quarter time. Nick Dacos sharks it for Collingwood. Hand pass chopped off by Manor. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Darcy Moore's underneath. Knocks it away from Dangerfield. Bruin gets a hand pass forward. Jeremy Cameron run down by Maynard. Dangerous hand pass to close from the top of the goal square. Puts through his second. And the Cats continue to have the answers. 4 of the last 5 goals of the match as they now lead by 17 points. 6-4-40 the Cats to Collingwood 3-5-23. And the Cats just kept it going forward. Dangerfield with a great goal assist to Brad Close. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC.
So Cal, this is what I'm talking about with Dacos. He's had 2 possessions this quarter. The first one was under pressure and he kicked the ball long. Geelong intercept mark. Right? The next one, and that came directly from him. It was a turnover. And Nick Dacos gets it and just wants to give a rushed handball straight to a Geelong player, and then they play that rush brand of football where it was just knock on, surge on, and kick a goal from the top of the goal square. But this is why the importance of the tag is so good against a player like Nick Dacos.
Yeah, a little bit of a frustration handball there. I thought handballing over his head, but Close had a great start to this game. Underrated player for the Geelong Football Club.
Got a couple now. Brad Close is from the middle. It's Max Holmes who picks it out for Geelong. Hand pass across to Lawson Humphries. He'll kick down the southern wing of the MCG. Looking for Henry. He's in a battle with Maynard and the ball will spill out of bounds and it'll be a last touch rule. And Braden Maynard will be the recipient of the kick. Just at left half back for his side. Unsure of where to move the footy, so decides to go long down the wing. It'll be close to the boundary. Cameron was at the back, couldn't take the mark. Elliott could gather, hand passes it away. Picked up by O'Connor, loses the footy. Nick Dacos steals it from him and will keep the ball moving to Collingwood's advantage. Chips it out to Buller. Left half forward for the Pies. Hand passes it to McCreary. He'll put this kick inside forward 50, looking for Chris, but Guthrie, standing in front of him, was able to hold on to the mark. An intercept for Geelong. He chips out to the left half back. To the left back pocket rather, where he can find Martin, who's marked a long way from goal. Geelong ahead by 17.
Yeah, double switch here and they're on here. The Cats have got a 2v1 if this can hit.
Martin, one of 4 goal kickers for the Cats. O'Sullivan up towards half back and Stanley takes the mark against Buller. Reece Stanley chips it wider still to Lawson Humphrey, centre of the Shane Warne stand wing. He plays on with intent, looks up towards half forward. Ollie Henry the target. Jeremy Howe from behind takes the mark as Henry got underneath the footy. Howe, having missed last week, just trying to get his touch back. Kicks up towards Darcy Cameron. Has the mismatch on Humphries. Hand pass away to Nick Dacos. Drives Collingwood up towards the 50. Elliott marks. What transition for Collingwood. Elliott cuts on his right. Has Long at the top of the goal square. In fact, it's McStay. And McStay takes the mark. Racing back as Jeremy Cameron trying to offer support. Dan McStay providing a presence and he marks at the top of the goal square.
Just feels to me that Collingwood have to work so hard to get a shot on goal, and sort of question there, could Cameron have made a bit more of an impact than what he probably could there? May have had a slight look.
Dan McStay looking for his second from point blank range. He pops it through. And the Pies close the deficit in this second quarter back to 11 points. A goal apiece so far. The Cats 6-4-40 to Collingwood 4-5-29. Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport.
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying about Jeremy Cameron. He worked back really hard. He made up a lot of ground, and right at the very end, he probably should have went for a mark and thought he was just playing forward. But this is where you want Nick Dacos kicking the ball from. It's forward of centre, And then they normally, when a classy player like that has got the football, that's where I want to see Nick Dacos winning the football. So much better than winning it in the back half.
They're not getting any marks inside 50, though, at anyone coming at the ball. It just feels like there's this reliance of trying to get all of their goals out the back at a point in time. I'm just not personally sure I like the way that Collingwood are playing, because they have to work so incredibly hard back to their forward 50 to give themselves an opportunity.
Back in the middle now. The tap out comes from De Koning towards Holmes, who soccers it forward all the way to half forward for the Cats. Side bottom's there to meet it though. Hand passes it to Josh Dacos, flicks it across to Quaynor, who's running down the southern wing, takes a bounce and hand passes to Josh, who's running alongside him. Hand passes to De Goey. He'll chip this one inside forward 50. There's Elliott. Clunks the mark, and Jamie Elliott will have a set shot at goal now. From about 50 out, tougher than a 45-degree angle.
Both teams look so much better when they put speed on the ball. Quaynor there taking a bounce and bringing it back inside to Josh Dacos. They just look like a much better team when there's speed on the football.
Jamie Elliott kicked 3 goals last week in the draw against Hawthorn. He kicks this one. It'll be back-to-back goals for the first time tonight for the Pies. He sets sail and it's completely offline. And it's just a minor score for Jamie Elliott.
You don't say that very often.
To 10.
Don't say that very often from Jamie Elliott, do you? He's normally a
dead-eye.
Yeah, he's a dead-eye. Absolutely is.
Hawks fans are wondering where that was last week when he nailed his 2 shots inside 50 in the final quarter. Connor O'Sullivan takes the mark from the Guthrie kick in. Up to Dangerfield, who presents on the wing. Marks over the top of Maynard. The Geelong captain cuts on his right, gets around Maynard. Gains a few extra metres, kicks up towards Shannon Neal at half forward. Darcy Cameron in front, spalls it down. Moore gathers for Collingwood. Hand pass to Frampton, trying to get away from Shannon Neal, and his hand pass comes off Anderson and goes out of play.
I'm liking Danger's influence in the game. He's not bursting away from stoppages and getting plenty of the football, but he's being really, really physical. He's making a really, really good contest, really kind of buying in and leading into his role. I honestly can feel Burma he'll get rewarded at some stage today with the way he's going about his footy.
5 disposals for Danger tonight, including 4 in the second quarter. Cameron tries to top it down to Nick Dacos. Can't get a disposal away. Does get a little toe poke out towards Tom Stewart. He overruns the footy. He tries to knock it out for Collingwood. Pendlebury tackle dispossessed. Anderson just kicks a high ball in the middle of the ground for Collingwood. Underneath the Buller. Jasny made the spoil, but it was over the shoulder in the eyes of the umpire. Collingwood free kick in the middle of the ground. But the Cats led him by 10.
Buller wants to move it on quickly. Hand passes it to Maynard, who just chips it to De Goey in the centre of the MCG. Hand passes it back to Maynard, who's running next to him, and he'll put the Pies inside 50, and Schultz will run onto it for a mark.
They found a little bit of a window here, Burma. As soon as they get that handball received, they're kind of catching Geelong's defensive structure out a little bit. They're getting a lot more marks, short marks inside 50 compared to what they were getting in that first quarter. But it just feels like in that situation, Geelong just need to check that kind of that runner coming past looking for a handball receive.
So look at Lockie Schultz, a similar distance to Jamie Elliott. A bit of a tougher angle as he kicks towards the sticks, punched through by De Koning, who rises and fists it for a minor score. It means Geelong's lead is back to single digits, though, just 9 points the Cats' advantage. Got out to as much as 19 points in that first term. 12 and a half minutes played in the second term on ABC Sport.
Cats work at the half-back. Bowes up the wing towards Shannon Neal. Can't complete the mark. Bruin knocks it on for Geelong, but only as far as Darcy Moore. His hand pass is too wide in the end for Lipinski and goes out of play. A lasso free kick going the way of the Cats.
It's funny, Tanner Braun still asked the umpire if that was deliberate, even though the new lasso rule is in place.
So it means Bowes will take the free kick for the Cats. Veers out around Lipinski, cuts back on his left. Lipinski in his 150th game. Up the wing, Oscar Steen couldn't complete the mark. Gets the hand pass to Josh Dacos, back to brother Nick. Nick's 6th disposal in this second quarter. Now back to the ruck, and Steen has an arm pinned by Close. No whistle. More hand passes to Nick Dacos. Tucks the footy under his arms. 2 bounces as he runs the members' wing. Pulls his kick in for Buller. Up with one arm, can't take the mark. And Tom Atkins for Geelong takes it back. Hand pass to De Koning. Hand pass to Holmes. Ran into Nick Dacos. He tries to get a hand pass clear. It spills out the way of Atkins, close to the boundary line. Knocks it away from Darcy Moore. And over the boundary line, not far from where Poppy Penny's watching on.
There's a bit happening down here. Darcy Cameron's having his right ankle strapped on the Collingwood bench, and Patrick Dangerfield's gone for a change of boots, a snazzy sort of shiny red and white number.
Thanks, Poppy. So ball to be tossed in right in front of your position. And then it's flicked by the umpire. Falls down to Bruin. Picks it up, hand passes it away to Manor. Goes with a long looping hand pass to Smith right next to the boundary line. Spins around the 360. Still manages to throw it on his boot towards a contest where Neil's happy to tap it away and see it over the boundary line for a throw-in at half forward for the Cats. They're leading by 9 points. While in Darwin, the Gold Coast Suns are up by 10 points at half-time. St Kilda was up by as much as 25 points in the first quarter. Now Gold Coast leading in that one at half-time. Ball tossed in. De Koning goes right through his hands. De Goey's there and can gather for Collingwood. Hand pass back to Houston. He flicks it down the line and will be marked by Jack Buller. Another possession coming up for him. Geelong ahead by 9 points in this second term.
Good to goal in the first quarter. Jack Buller sends Collingwood up the wing. In the direction of Ned Long. He tries to hang on to it. Humphreys spoils late. Holmes gets a hand pass away to Atkins for Geelong. Gets the hand pass wide. Manor drives it up towards half forward, but it's over the head of Shannon Neal. The mark is taken by Frampton. Swings it inside defensive 50 to Howe, and they've got Quainer on the overlap. He's at left half back. He marks in front of Ollie Dempsey. Hand pass over the top for Maynard. He slopes the hand pass out towards Sidebottom. Gathers on the bounce. The Collingwood veteran on his right kicks up towards Pendlebury. It's over his head. Long runs onto it. Cuts it on his right. Looking for a 2-on-1. It misses McStay or Buller. And Kolajasny, the one in defence for Geelong, takes the mark.
Missed opportunity there. They had a 2-on-1 in the goal square, the Collingwood boys. Just had to hit the target.
Chips out to Manor, who chips to Bailey Smith. Still in defensive 50 for the Cats. His kick, a direct turnover. McCreery chops that one off. It was a missed kick from Smith. And McCreery can put the Pies back inside forward 50 and find Jack Buller again. Another set shot for Jack Buller.
The matchup that I'm really liking for the Pies is McStay. Now, I know he's kicked 2 and he hit the post with another. Quite easily could have had 3. And he's on O'Sullivan. I just think the body strength. And O'Sullivan gets really aggressive. McStay was the spare in the goal square for the Pies just before. He's got to be a little bit careful, especially when a forward's got a couple on the board before half-time.
He loves his spot ball, doesn't he? He's very confident.
It's maybe a slightly easier angle than what he's had so far tonight. Just his 14th game. Jack Buller curling this one towards goal. Can't put it through. A minor score for him. But Geelong's lead slowly being cut back by singles. They're down to an 8-point advantage against the Pies. Geelong 6-4-40, playing Collingwood 4-8-32.
So Buller with a couple of chances in this second quarter as Bailey Smith more circumspect with this kick to Stewart, who marks in the right back pocket. Comes in more to O'Connor. Might give it around the back to Tom Stewart. He drives a kick into the middle of the ground, trying to get it to Bowes. Lipinski can't complete the mark for Collingwood. Does get a hand pass back to Houston. One way, then the other. Cuts back on his right, turns it straight over. Humphreys takes the mark for Geelong at half back. He looks to go quickly into the middle of the ground for Smith. Just takes the mark. Now Schultz trying to get a hand to it. Bailey Smith spots Ollie Dempsey all on his own on the worn wing. He drops the mark. Just got a hand pass over his head as McCreery and Maynard came racing at him. McCreery now over the footy. He locks it in for Collingwood. Just a few areas from both sides feeling the pressure.
Yeah, certainly is. The kick inside, I'm not sure the Collingwood player, I missed it, but it went straight to Humphreys. And then just a drop mark, just a simple drop mark.
Collingwood trailing by 8 points. There's a chance for Pendlebury. Gets a hand pass out to Anderson. Over his head, looking for Maynard. Through the middle of the MCG. Kicks out wide at half forward in the direction of Ned Long. On the bounce for him. Humphreys lays the tackle. Gets a hand pass away. Can't get it to Lipinski. Bowes tries to gather. 2 Magpies at him. He shovels out. A flick pass. Got away with it there. As it comes to Humphreys. Then Bowes is bumped off it. Buller slides in for Collingwood. Hand pass floats for Anderson. Coming the other direction is Bowes. Great intent on attack and intent from both players. And the umpire will board up. And right half forward for the Magpies. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Nick Dacos and Oisin Mullen are both standing on the bench, and Nick Dacos just gave him a little look, raised his eyebrows and said, let's go on the field. They're both waiting.
Thanks, Poppy, as ball brought back into play. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. He might curl this one to goal himself. On the line, it's still in play. Mick stays there, scrambling for the footy. Atkins comes over the top of him, curls this footy away from the boundary, straight to McCreery. He gets tackled by Warple. Ball spills out. Elliott has it this time for Collingwood. Can just get a hand pass out near the boundary. It'll be locked up now. Ball up inside forward 50 for the Pies.
Not sure why Geelong didn't rush that ball through. They kept it alive and just very lucky not to get a goal kicked against them, the Cats.
Atkins comes out from the bottom of that pack. Darcy Cameron taps it away. Bruin picks it up for Geelong, though. His hand pass close to the boundary. McCreary picks it up for the Pies. Hand pass to Lipinski. Wants to square the footy up. No mark can be taken. The rise came from Steen. Ball spills towards the back. Atkins comes in, takes the footy. Kolajasny had it. He dropped the footy. And it's a free kick going the way of Collingwood.
And I think that just shows, Boomer, you don't need it to be pretty to go inside 50. Couple of repeat stoppages. A really strong effort there from De Goey on the boundary just to apply some physical pressure. Just wanted that football a lot more than anyone.
It was a great tackle too by Pendlebury. He just pinned the arm. Just pinned the arm perfectly.
They're going to erupt if he kicks this.
And there are the cheers as everyone realised who had the ball in their hands. Scott Pendlebury gained 432 from right in front. He's got it. He equals the record of Brent Harvey for most games played of AFL. And he gets a goal as well. A moment for him, a moment for the fans at the MCG here tonight. Something they wanted to see. And he cuts back Geelong's advantage to just 2 points as well. 5-8-38 Collingwood, Geelong 6-4-40. We've ticked into extra time in this second quarter.
Well, that's only the third goal for the quarter, am I right there? 2 to the Pies and 1 to the Cats. So not an amazing quarter. And Stevie Johnson just showing me something here. Do you want me to read that stat?
Can you read it on there?
I can read it on there.
I didn't see what the note said.
It said only kicked half as many goals as me.
Ready for the camera, Cal. It'll be coming back to Boomer shortly. Back in the middle of the ground. Steen rises up, wins down the tap, but Stanley follows up. Kicks to half forward for Geelong, and Dangerfield sliding in, takes the mark. The Cats looking to respond. He blazes towards home. Into the pocket. Martin takes the mark.
That's a great mark.
Courageous.
Jeremy Howe was in two minds as to whether to chase his opponent or try and lay off. In the end, he tried to get to Martin, but he couldn't get there, and he takes the mark only about 5 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
It's one of those things that he fully committed, Martin, for that contest.
Steps out, curls it around his body. Jack Martin puts through his second, and the Cats immediately answer back after the Pendlebury goal at the other end. It's back to an 8-point margin Geelong's way. 7-5, 7-4, 46 to Collingwood 5-8-38. 2 goals apiece so far in this second quarter. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport.
Sometimes when you're in that position going back with the flight of the footy, if you're the one in that uncomfortable position, if you're more committed, it actually does in a weird way mentally put a bit of a barrier in Howe's mind. Like, he's kind of caught in 2 minds going, oh my God, this guy's actually going for this. But the full commitment to actually show that, put himself at a fair bit of risk. But you are right, Howe was kind of caught in 2 minds going, is he going for this? Am I sort of pulling out and shooting off someone? But terrific response after what just happened earlier with Pendlebury kicking that goal. So terrific fight back there from Geelong.
5 minutes left in this first half as the ball's brought back into play in the middle. De Goey might have been tackled without it. Umpire says play on. Holmes takes his kick, puts Geelong inside forward 50. No, we are coming back.
De Goey's free, yep.
Yeah. It was being tugged by Holmes. And eventually the right decision is made. And Jordan De Goey will have it in the centre of the MCG. Will kick it into the forward pocket again. Steen goes up, can't take the mark. Ball spills behind him. DeConey's there to pick up for the Cats. Hand pass to Dempsey. Hand pass across to Humphries, then goes back to Dempsey. Hand pass to Jeremy Cameron. A long looping hand pass can find Sean Manor. He flicks it to Holmes. They're working it down the southern wing now here, the Cats. Manor picks it up, hand passes it away to Humphries. Another hand pass to Dangerfield. He flicks it back to Humphries, and eventually Lawson Humphries will spear this pass to Tanner Bruin, who's on the lead inside forward 50. He wants to play on. He spots a target, and he chips into the right forward pocket where Jack Martin leaps up and plunks the mark, and now it'll be his turn to have a set shot at goal.
Well, Clinchy, this is exactly what we saw in the VFL today, wasn't it? How the Geelong are playing, working it up the boundary, hesitating by no way, shape or form with their hands. And just to find Tanner Bruin, but to find Martin directly after that, and just caught napping once again the Collingwood defenders. Sorry, Clinchy, I've cut you off.
Well, he's well worked. Jack Martin has the shot. He misses, can't get 2 in a minute, Carl, but Geelong Cats' lead is out to 9 points.
Just the long system as they transition so well. Nick Dacos brings Collingwood back into play to Howe, who marks. Short to Houston. Just a boomer in just the different styles as both sides try to deliver inside 50. The Cats have been far more efficient. McCreary tries to kick up towards Darcy Cameron, and Stanley gets a touch onto it.
Yeah,
see it out of play.
Yeah, Cal touched on it before. It doesn't look like Collingwood and McStay is the man, but doesn't look like they've got that old school full forward, let's kick it to me, in a little bit of trouble, put it to the top of the goal square. Whereas Geelong are a little bit more methodical. They're dropping their eyes a lot more. We did mention it early in the piece, and they've gone away a little bit, but they're getting back to it slowly now, and they look like they're scoring easier shots on goal.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Nick Dacos sharks it, gets a hand pass forward. Stewart knocks it into the path of Warple. Hand pass to Guthrie for Geelong at half back. Up towards half forward. In front, Frampton competes against Neal. Slaps it towards the boundary line. Never got there. Bailey Smith takes it. Hand pass to Jeremy Cameron at left half forward. Long searching kick. Martin one-on-one with Sidebottom. Sidebottom got rid of him. He used all of the experience there at 35 years of age and takes the mark at the top of the defensive goal square. Poppy Penny down on the boundary.
The crowd was very disappointed Jack Martin didn't kick that one because his goal song is the Macarena and everyone around me was doing the dance.
Featured a couple of times for Jack Martin tonight. He has 2 goals. Ollie Henry has a couple. Well, for the Magpies, 5 individual goal kickers. Maynard has to lunge to take this mark from Josh Dacos. No damage done as he works it up the wing. Jordan Degoe takes the mark. He started red hot. 18 disposals so far in the match for Degoe, including 12 in the opening quarter. That one not his best though, and Rowan Steele can't make it work off hands. A boundary throw in, Geelong leading by 9 points. Here's Lauren Borden on ABC Sport.
Ball to be tossed in front of Geelong's benches, the broadcast side. They're leading by 9 points. It is a Geelong home match tonight against Collingwood. Degoe takes it away, hand passes it towards Josh Dacos. Dangerfield wins out, kicks it. Martin will pick it up, not 15, has to hand pass it away to Atkins quickly. He hurries a kick inside forward 50. He was looking for Jeremy Cameron. Moore couldn't take the mark or gather it cleanly in the end, pushes it away. Hopes for Lipinski to try and grab it. And Lipinski does the shepherding so Moore can pick it up, then hand pass it back to him. And Lipinski will kick down the wing, looking for Schultz. Humphries at front position. Takes it for the Cats. Hand passes it towards Guthrie, who has Schultz right near him, worrying him out of it. Smith picks it up for the Cats. Hand passes it back to Guthrie. His hand pass goes to Holmes. Spills out of his hands, but still stays in the hands of the Cats as Smith kicks it down to Warple. Just inside, forward 50 for Geelong. He'll go all the way, but it's just offline. Couldn't reach Henry's hands either. Goes through 4 behind for the Cats. Their lead extends back out to double digits. It's 10 points the margin. Geelong 7-6-48 leading Collingwood 5-8-38. 26 minutes played in this second.
It wasn't a great kick at all there by Warple. He had 3 Geelong players all pointing to the top of the goal square. I'm not sure it was a shot, Cal, or not, but it was in nobody's favour for the Cats boys.
Jeremy Howe brings Collingwood back into play. Long up towards Darcy Cameron. Can't take the mark. Taccone knocks it on. Cameron got it to Buller and he's tackled across the boundary line. And a throw in. Geelong by 10 points. 7-6-48 to the Magpies. 5-8-38. The Cats led by 11 points at quarter time. Collingwood got back within 2 points, but the Cats have answered with the last goal of the match. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny down on the boundary. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair, your experts on ABC Sport. Stanley wins down the tap against Cameron. Into the middle of the ground. It's hacked with a kick up towards the middle. And Crisp got it to half forward. Not dealt with by Kolajasny. So Schultz for Collingwood. Hand pass to Buller. Is there enough time for Collingwood? Crisp gets a hand pass to Schultz. Looks out to the Warn wing. Lipinski's on the charge. He marks it left half forward. Running away from Bowes. He curls out to the right. Looks to poke a kick into the pocket. Into the direction of McStay. Worked underneath it by O'Sullivan. And a bounce out in front of Ned Long, who tries to keep it alive. Free kick going Geelong's way for a late whistle. And it's going to go the way of O'Sullivan in that tangle with McStay.
Yeah, McStay just pinned O'Sullivan's arm there. Got out of position. Great body work by O'Sullivan.
Sullivan chips it to Guthrie, who chipped it to Bruin. Left back pocket, just chips it out to Stanley in his first AFL game of the season for the Cats. Puts it out towards Atkins. He chips it to Holmes, who takes a bounce and then hand passes it to Martin, who'll curl this one to the top of the 50 for the Cats. Neal running in, tried to take it with a chest mark and leap up in the end. Brought it to ground. Moore gets hit high by Mullen as he was running past him, and he'll go here and just check on him, Mullen. But he did knock Moore high there as both of them were running for the ball. It is half-time here at the MCG, and Geelong leading by 10 points. They led by 11 at quarter time. Just cut back to 10 points at the main break. 7-6-48 the Cats. The Pies 5-8-38. The goal kickers so far in the match tonight. Jack Martin has 2, Ollie Henry has 2, and Brad Close have 2 for the Cats. Shannon Neal with a single there for Geelong. And then for Collingwood, a couple to Dan McStay. Jack Buller has 1. Josh Dacos has a single. And Scott Pendlebury, in his 432nd match, has put a goal through as well for the Pies.
So a head clash in one of the last passages of play there with Oisin Mullen attacking the footy. His head made contact with Darcy Moore, who's currently leading the Magpies off the MCG, but I'm sure the trainers won't be too far away from probably completing a concussion test. A second quarter in which Scott Pendlebury booted a goal in the game in which he equals Brent Boomer Harvey, 432nd game. But it's the Cats who lead by 10 points at halftime. The thoughts of Cal Sinclair and Boomer Harvey on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was interesting in that second quarter. Just looking at some stats here, Boomer. Nick Dacos had, a 9 disposal second quarter, but I wouldn't say his influence on the game was overly that significant, which might seem harsh for an absolute champion of the game at the stage of his career. Jack Buller seems to be finding a fair bit of footy, and he's getting shots on goal. I thought Braden Maynard was absolutely terrific. He really set them up in defence. But for me, I just feel like, I don't know, Boomer, it's a bit of a... The ball's kind of going back and forth at the moment. Both teams are kind of having their opportunities. I thought Collingwood's efficiency going inside 50 was far more improved compared to what they were doing in the first quarter. They seemed to have a bit more method. They actually were looking up and actually had options to sort of kick to, where in that first quarter they were kind of going in there and actually hoping. Geelong, Jack Martin for me was terrific. He's getting shots on goal. Probably could have had 3 goals that quarter, to be honest, if they looked inside 50 a little bit cleanly to him. But overall, Max Home had 10 touches that quarter. He was obviously very, very significant. Smith as well, Bailey Smith, maybe a little bit similar to Nick Dacos, finding plenty of the footy, but has the influence been there? Probably not from a visual perspective.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree around the Dacos stuff, and I know you touch on it, and I'll keep the guys updated on this tonight. 17 touches for Dacos in the first half, but again, there's no breaking, and his first 2 possessions of the quarter was a kick to the opposition and a handball to the opposition. Again, we understand, let's double
getting
17.
followed. Yeah.
He's going to have 30 touches regardless, but it's the pressure that we put on him, the opposition put on him. So I thought it was fantastic. And Mullen's only had the 6 touches, but you don't really want him having the football anyway in terms of just do your job on Nick Dacos. The guy from Jeremy Cameron, it just hasn't been a big start. 8 possessions, no shots on goal. Geelong, Collingwood are doing a fantastic job there. And Tom Stewart, the one we mentioned before the game, not to be spared. I don't think he's had any impact on the game as well. The barometer for me is Max Holmes. You mentioned, I think you said he had 10 possessions that quarter, but I'm looking for another big half. And this was the case last week down at Cardinia Park, where we thought he could be the barometer and got him going. He is certainly their barometer. I know Bailey Smith's an accumulator. He gets a lot of the football, but Max Holmes is the one. He can run, he can bounce, he can set up goals from half back, he can play through the midfield. So look to a big half for him, but only 21 inside 50s for the whole quarter.
Yep.
11 to Collingwood and 10 to Geelong. So the game was played between the 2 arcs, and it was only 4 goals kicked. So it was an amazing quarter of football, but when you're in a stranglehold, that's how it is. And it's the first team that's going to make break that type of scenario to get the ball going forward a little bit more and give themselves more opportunities.
Overall, statistically, both teams are pretty even, to be honest. Disposal counts 196 to 204 in favour of Collingwood. Inside 50s, 22 to 27. That's here or there in favour of Collingwood. The stoppage games, pretty interesting. They are dominant in hit-outs, Collingwood, but I think clearance is in total 19 to 16 in favour of Collingwood. So centre clearances, they're 6-all. So there's not much really between both teams. Just looking at the stat sheet before, which has actually just escaped us, it feels like the superstars from both teams, like let's look at Collingwood, Nick Dacos, De Goey. De Goey's had a pretty good game.
Touches,
yeah,
De Goey.
He's had a pretty significant game, and he's definitely having impact. So you got those 2, Pendlebury as well. He's been a little bit quiet out there, and then you go Geelong, Cameron, Stewart, Dangerfield. You just feel like those are the 6 names from each out there on the par today that they need to explode in this sort of second half in order to, I guess, propel their team for a win.
When I'm looking at those stars that you just mentioned, Cal, I'm looking at inside 50s. Now, Dacos has had the 17 touches. He's had 3 inside 50s. De Goey's had 19 touches, 5 inside 50s. So if you get a game where you can have 7 or 8 plus inside 50. You've won the ball in a decent part of the ground, so I'd like those good players really using the football going inside 50. De Go is leading with 5 at the minute, so he's winning the ball because he's playing that on-ball / half-high forward coming up and being an extra on-baller, but he wins the ball in great spots. He's dynamic, he's fast, he's quick, he's got a penetrating kick, so he's the one that's probably got to kick the ball inside forward 50 more for the Pies.
The thoughts of Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair with you on ABC Sport. Geelong led by 11 points at quarter time. It's the Cats who lead by 10 at half time. More to come, including the second half, and we'll take you through all the results from the earlier matches of the day. But for the moment, let's bring you the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. Early results in the Farrer by-election are showing a dramatic swing away from the Liberals, with One Nation leading the count. The Liberals only have around 10%, which is an almost 40% swing against them since 2025. ABC News spoke with Nationals leader Matt Canavan about the National Party's prospects tonight. The National Party hasn't contested the seat since 2001, after Susan Lee won the seat for the Liberals. Mr Canavan says he recognises that people are disillusioned with politics and the political class.
Thought it was very important that I come here and hear directly from the people, take it on the chin, and certainly I've got that feedback about how things haven't been going the way people want, and I knew that when coming into the leadership, but it's been even more important to hear that directly from so many voters.
A descendant of members of Australia's first ever parliament says he's happy to have visited Melbourne's Royal Exhibition Building today on the 125th anniversary of the opening of the nation's first federal parliament. The event in 1901 saw 12,000 people pack into the building to witness the future King of England, George, Duke of Cornwall and York, officially open Parliament. Hundreds of people attended again today, viewing artefacts, including the Duke's horse-drawn carriage. Dr Matt Harvey says he has an intimate connection with the anniversary.
I had two ancestors in the room. One was Atlee Hunt, who was first Secretary of the Department of External Affairs and Prime Minister and Cabinet. He's my great-grandfather. And Robert Harper, who was a member of the first Federal Parliament. He's my great-great-grandfather. So I wanted to come along and say hi to them.
Fuel prices have remained lower than expected over the week, with motorists encouraged to take advantage while they can. The average retail cost of unleaded fuel is around $1.80 a litre across the country, with diesel sitting at around $2.30. NRMA spokesman Peter Curry says people should fill up now before prices rise again.
We don't know when it's going to turn. The likelihood is it will turn soon, based on the fact that oil prices have gone up. That just hasn't flowed on to the wholesale price or the terminal gate price yet in Australia. And we hope that the retail prices stay low as long as possible, because families are starting to get some relief.
Now to some breaking news, and the ABC projects that One Nation has won the Farrer by-election. David Farley becomes the first One Nation candidate ever elected to the House of Representatives. He's also the first member for Farrer who does not represent either the Liberal Party or the National Party. The Liberals have failed to hold on to the vast rural New South Wales seat of their former leader Susan Lee. She resigned from Parliament in February after being defeated by Angus Taylor in a leadership challenge. One Nation have been ahead of the Liberals in national polls for months. The CSIRO says it still needs to cut up to 350 jobs despite more than $387 million in additional funding from the federal government. The National Science Agency will spend the funds on projects relating to medical research, pandemic preparedness and advanced technology development. CSIRO Chief Executive Doug Hilton says the financial boost announced today gives remaining staff essential stability.
It allows investment into our facilities, our equipment and our cyber security, and it provides confidence to our staff that they have the long-term ability to do the creative science that this country so desperately needs.
Police have charged an unlicensed driver over a high-speed pursuit through Canberra's north. Ruby Thomas reports.
Officers say they clocked an Audi driving 130 kilometres an hour in an 80 zone at Acton yesterday morning. They activated their lights and sirens, but the car didn't stop, speeding off towards Belconnen. Police deployed tyre spikes, but the pursuit continued, with the Audi allegedly running a red light and driving on footpaths in Macquarie and Cook. Police say a member of the public had to jump out of the way to avoid getting hit. A 42-year-old man was eventually arrested after fleeing the car on foot. He's been charged with a string of offences, including aggravated dangerous driving, and is due to face court today.
In sport, Adelaide United and Auckland FC have played out a 1-1 draw in the first leg of their A-League men's soccer semi-final in wet conditions at Mount Smart Stadium. Auckland's Luke Brook opened the scoring midway through the first half before Harry Crawford ensured that scores would be level heading into next weekend's second leg. And in our breaking news, the ABC is projecting that One Nation has won the Farrer federal by-election.
For some, the world's a stage.
The theatre we make, it's visceral.
For others, it's a spreadsheet.
She has got to go.
Anne Edmonds and Kitty Flanagan star in the brand new comedy, Bad Company. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Dacos sharks it for Collingwood. Our pass chopped off by Manor. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Darcy Moore's underneath. Knocks it away from Dangerfield. Bruin gets a hand pass forward. Jeremy Cameron run down by Maynard. Dangerous hand pass to close from the top of the goal square. Puts through his second. And the Cats continue to have the answers.
Lipinski wants to square the footy up. No mark can be taken. The rise came from Steen. Ball spills towards the back. Atkins comes in, takes the footy. Kolajasny had it. He dropped the footy. And it's a free kick going the way of Collingwood. Scott Pendlebury gained 432 from right in front. He's got it.
Steen rises up, wins down the tap, but Stanley follows up. Kicks to half forward for Geelong and Dangerfield. Sliding in, takes the mark. The Cats looking to respond. He blazes towards home. Into the pocket. Martin takes the mark. Steps out, curls it around his body. Jack Martin puts through his second.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Half-time of the MCG. Great to have your company on a Saturday night. It's the Cats who lead by 10 points over the Magpies. 7-6-48 to Collingwood 5-8-38. Couple of goals for Ollie Henry coming in the first quarter. 2 goals to Brad Close as well. While for the Magpies, Dan McStay is their multiple goal kicker. The other match taking place tonight is the Gold Coast Suns hosting St Kilda from Darwin. It's a place the Suns have had a great recent record. And despite the Saints starting promisingly, St Kilda led by 25 points at quarter time, 5 of the first 6 goals. It's the Suns who lead by 13 points with 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. So the Gold Coast Suns 8-4-52 to St Kilda 5-9-39. Just a reminder, there is an ABC call of that game available. It's on the ABC Listen app. If it's not on your radio, 2 goals for Ben King for the Suns, while a couple of goals for Darcy Wilson for the Saints. It's always been a bit of love between St Kilda and Gold Coast with the academies and the father-son prospects, so I'm sure there'll be some good pie play in the post-game press conferences as well. Earlier today, it was the Sydney Swans who defeated North Melbourne by 8 points. The Swans 16-9-105 to North Melbourne 14-13-97. So a 6th straight win for the Swans to reclaim top spot. Isaac Heaney was the star of the show. 24 disposals, 15 contested possessions, 8 score involvements and 3 goals. He got the 3 votes from Adam Ramanauskas in the ABC Footballer of the Year. It was a day in which the Roos were celebrating their 1996 Premiership reunion 30 years on. And a bit of concern around Cooper Trembath in that final quarter after he hyperextended his leg. While earlier the Giants defeated the Bombers by 14 points. It was hard fought. The Giants led by 4 points at quarter time, then the Bombers led by 15 at half time and 8 points at three-quarter time. The Giants finished with the last 4 goals of the match to eventually prevail by 14 points. Toby Green with 3 goals alongside Jake Stringer, while Lockie Whitfield had 35 disposals for the Giants. The 3 votes in the ABC Football of the Year went to young bomber Archie Roberts, who had 42 disposals, while 2 goals to Wright, 3 goals to Wright, I should say, and 3 goals to May for the Bombers. So unfortunately for them, another loss, but their fans would feel like they showed more intent, and the Giants just had to get a win to keep their season alive. And earlier today in our VFL match of the day, it was a 61-point win the way of Geelong. So the Cats on top of the ladder, 5 wins and 1 loss from the opening 7 rounds of the VFL season. And Graham Myers made his return, so concern around his knee, has a partial tear of the ACL. He spoke to ABC Sports' Gemma Bastiati after the game about his last couple of weeks.
Played a few games and I just had a bit of instability through the knee, so I was just working through it, and then the physios just said we'll get a scan, and the scan showed some poor results for me, but the feeling was I was like, I can play, so why should we go for 12 months? And it's still not off the cards, if we're being honest, so we'll see how the next few weeks goes as well, but today was a huge step in the right direction, so I'm not out of the woods, but I'm feeling good.
So very honest, Graham Myers chatting to Gemma Bastiati. If you want to watch the coverage, it's available on ABC iView if you want to watch during the week, or on the traditional Channel 2. And there is a radio call available on ABC Sport Extra on the ABC Listen app. Half-time here at the MCG. Geelong leading by 10 points. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden calling the action. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Cal Sinclair was part of our VFL coverage today, and Brent Harvey is with you in the back row as well. You've got the TV induction, Cal, and at the rustic Victoria Park, the home ground of the base of the Magpies.
I do say if those grandstands could talk, they've got some significant stories, what they could tell. And mate, we had some IT issues today, Clinchy, but I thought as a team we all rallied together, rolled the sleeves up. It's not like the establishment we've got here at the MCG. Like, I'm sitting here with scones.
Yes.
I'm sitting here with scones. There's a fruit salad. Me and Boomer are trying to get on TV so I can feed Boomer a grape today. But anyway, I digress. What was the question? Sorry.
Did you have to wear makeup? Did you have to wear makeup today for TV?
No, I got given an ABC pin, actually, and I thought there was actually a ceremony that was going to take place with the floor manager there. But anyway, it was very rough. It was very casual, but, I very much enjoyed it. But Boomer actually put his hand up, Clinchy. He wanted to get down to the VFL parks. And
he wants an ABC pin.
Exactly right.
Did it rain today?
Yes.
It did.
It did.
First half.
Can't tell when you're at Marvel Stadium underneath a beautiful roof. And
exactly right.
Who was BOG out of the North Melbourne 1996 Premiership reunion?
So Clinchy, I snuck off a little bit early, knowing that I've got work tonight. I had a past players function also today at the football, coinciding with the reunion of 96. Who was best on? Well, when I got there, Anthony Rock was already not approachable, nearly.
He's quite an emotional person when he has a couple of drinks. I've heard. I don't know Anthony. He's quite, he gets deep and meaningful.
He is, and the great David King got a few of the boys up for us. Just not a speech, but just a quick Q&A. And there was some really interesting guys. Glenn Freeborn was like he was sitting out.
Played well that day.
He kicked 3. And they were trying to get that out of him. And Freo was just like, yeah, I was okay, I guess. And it was just like really Glenn Freeborn, if you know Glenn or ever seen him, it was like he was out in the surf doing whatever he wanted to.
Can I ask a question? Out of that, I was a Kangaroos absolute tragic growing up. Out of that sort of that cohort, who's kind of done something a little bit obscure career-wise since they've left, or who's made a fair bit of coin, or
remember Brad Moran?
Yep.
Brad Moran, he only played a handful of games for the Kangas and then went to, I actually think he wore... Did he wear 18 at North Melbourne after Wayne, and then went to Adelaide and wore number 2?
Yes.
I'm not 100%
He's trying to sell
sure
his house in Queensland. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how much for? Have you seen it on the market?
It's for a squillion. Yeah.
It's like $20-something million. So he sold some part of IT business and made $1 squillion. That was a bit left field.
Is Craig Scholl in caravan parks?
Okay, he was my next one. You got me. He's been in a few business, houseboats, caravan parks. He had the Bright Caravan Park. You know how lovely Bright is. And the boys did mention that he was... very well off.
So who's shouting the drinks when the bar ends? Is Craig Scholl the one that you guys sort of push up there? Is Brad Randy a push up there, or is it someone that kind of volunteers their services?
No, I think it's pretty amicable around the boys, and they would like Scholly to buy some. I'm not sure if he does. No, I think it's all my shout, your shout, your shout. I think the boys are pretty good in that area.
That's a good memory from you, Boomer Harvey. Brad Moran wore number 18 in his 3 games for the Kangaroos, and then featured in another, what did he play? 21 in total, so played a handful for the Adelaide Crows, wearing number 2.
18 games, and he wore the 2 after Wayne as well, though. I'm very good with numbers. I've got a great memory with anyone I played with, or even probably against.
The fridge, Mark Roberts.
He was there. Yeah, he actually organised. Now, I actually get 30 seconds to pump him up. He organised the whole event. So he went out to a pub in South Melbourne. No formalities. David King ran the show in terms of the microphone. And just literally got everybody up for a 30-second interview, and that was it. Formalities are over. They had a couple of sponsors there that looked after the night, and the boys got a couple of beers. I snuck off at about 11:30.
Smart. Just
so I knew I was fresh for today and then tonight. A few of the boys might not have been home at about 4 a.m, I heard today. So did quite well to back up today, though. Let me tell you, they all look pretty good again.
How many phone calls did you get throughout the week, Boomer, for people asking you for various requests?
Yeah, got a few, but I work for ABC. This is who I work with, and this is what I do.
You're a loyal man. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Gaz and the Truckie says they should get the Harvey Pendlebury medal when the Kangaroos played Collingwood. And Mark, Boomer had 40 more games in him. Brad Scott retired him too early. We'll let that stand as a statement. Now, Darcy Moore, he's out there? No. Can't see him out there for the Magpies at the moment. So we'll get Poppy Penny. He might have just made his way up the race. Second half about to get underway. Geelong by 10 points.
And right from the middle, it'll be taken by O'Shea Mullen, who pulls it away, kicks it down to Smith, and pass away to Dempsey. Straight towards goal in the opening seconds of the third quarter. What a start for Geelong. And what a start for Dempsey as well. Geelong's lead out to 16 points. They played 20 seconds in this third term, and the Cats able to put a goal on the board. 8-6-54 Geelong. Collingwood 5-8-38. 16 points, the Cats' advantage. 20 seconds played in the first.
Don't know what happened at that centre bounce there. Oscar Steen towered over Reece Stanley and actually palmed the ball forward, and I don't know, but like De Goey was just completely caught in the mud. His feet were stuck in concrete or something and just didn't move, and they just walked that one out. Great finish, but I don't know what happened with De Goey there. He just literally, either he was getting held very well by Atkins or just...
Yeah, I think there was definitely a little blocking there and he couldn't get there, but a fantastic start by the Cats. And when you've got ruck dominance like that, you shouldn't really...
get walked out.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen.
A goal inside 15 seconds for Geelong. Free kick for a hole going Nick Dacos' way. Out pass to De Goey. Kicks up towards half forward. Bullock can't take the mark. Quainer gathers. Back to De Goey. Runs inside 50. Can Collingwood answer straight back? He misses to the right-hand side. A 15-point lead the Cats' way. Poppy Penny on the boundary. Can you see Darcy Moore at all? Is he down on the bench there? Poppy might have just made her way back down from upstairs. We'll get her to keep an eye on him. The Collingwood captain isn't out on the field at the moment.
Just knocked by O'Shea Mullen late in that second term. As the kick out comes, and it'll be a turnover here for Collingwood as Long picks it up. He hand passes it away towards Bullock, who's carried over the boundary line for a throw-in. About 52 metres out from the Pies' goal.
If it wasn't the Collingwood's medical team, I think the ARC would have probably made that call. That it was a big hit at the back end of that second term. Even though it looked okay, they need to take every precaution given what's happening around the industry.
So we'll get an update from Poppy Penny shortly as the ball gets tossed in. Stanley taps it away. Dangerfield picks it up off the turf. Hand pass to Smith. Hand pass across to Mullen. He kicks long down the southern wing. And Neil has front position on Frampton Marks. Wheels around and puts Geelong inside forward 50. It's a dart of a pass. It was flat and it finds Jeremy Cameron.
Beautiful kick lead for a big guy, yeah. And the lead was excellent, but you've got to honour the lead too, Cal. There's no point to keep turning up and having good leads and then not dropping the eyes. This is what Geelong's done quite well.
Just watching the replay here, geez, he timed that beautifully, Cameron, didn't he? Just worked that arc. It was just wasn't quite a tick lead, just a ticky arc, I'd probably call that.
So Jeremy Cameron, 48 metres out. Tougher than 45-degree angle. It goes across the face and will be tapped through for a minor score for the Cats. Their lead extends out to 16 points early stages of this third term. It's Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
So hang on, what are we calling it? A ticky arc?
Not quite a tick and not quite a massive turning circle. It's just...
So we'll run with a ticky arc.
Ticky arc.
I like it. Terminology I haven't heard before, but I'm all for it. Houston Long out of defence. Kicks Collingwood up to half back. Then Long gets a hand pass away. And here's a chance for Rowan Steele. Kicks up towards half forward. Now De Goey's landed awkwardly there in a marking collision with Schultz. Geelong take it back through Atkins. Hand pass to Bailey Smith. Across the back edge of the centre square to O'Shea Mullen. The tagger kicks out to Shannon Neal. He marks on the Shane Warne stand of the wing. Runs his full measure. drives it long inside 50. Dempsey sets himself, can't take the mark in the end, caught flat-footed. Maynard knocks it out to Nick Dacos. Half past to Pendlebury, through the middle of the ground to Houston. Links up with Nick Dacos once more. He'll kick laterally. Geelong are well set through the middle of the ground, and he finds his brother Josh.
Josh goes inboards to Pendlebury, who marks. Back edge of the centre square. He can kick it down to DeGoey, who was standing alone in the centre of the MCG. He'll put this one inside, forward 50. It works for Jack Buller. 48 metres out. Wants to move the kick on. It bobbles its way towards McStay in the right forward pocket. He'll try and square things up, looking for Crisp. It was a 2-on-1. Stanley punches the footy away. Will work for Geelong, though. It'll be bounced out, and it'll be a throw-in inside, forward 50. Down to Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Darcy Moore is still in the rooms and he's out for the rest of the game with a concussion.
So the Collingwood captain's night is done. That collision with Oisin Mullen ahead of half-time. And Collingwood will have to be without one of their key defenders in their back 50. Oscar Steen knocks it down for Collingwood. Crisp can't get a boot to ball. Tom Atkins takes it back for Geelong. Hand pass out towards the boundary line. Dempsey worked off it. Quainer keeps it alive. Dacos Nick spins out of traffic. Tries to get it back to Quainer. Ball spills out the way of Max Holmes. Hand pass to Dempsey. Back to Holmes. Kick only as far as Dacos. Can't take it cleanly. Shoved out of it by O'Connor. The Irishman tries to gather. Pinballs off a couple of boots. Side bottom gets it back to Josh Dacos. His hand pass to turnover. Oisin Mullen takes it for Geelong. Up the wing towards Neal. Can't mark. Frampton slides in for Collingwood. Tries to knock it out. Ricochets into Maynard. Jeremy Cameron with a little toe poke to Dangerfield. Breaks the tackle. Gets a hand pass forward looking for Close. Holding the ball. And Collingwood will take it back on the wing. Dangerfield has been relatively quiet tonight, but Maynard wins the free kick for Collingwood.
Has Darcy Moore had a few priors, concussion priors?
Had that vertigo issue last season. So he has had issues with his vision and his sight. So no doubt a cautious approach for the Collingwood captain.
Collingwood work it to the northern wing at the G. The kick from Schultz is able to find Long. Still a couple of kicks from goal for Collingwood. And he'll load up on this one and pop it to the top of the goal square. Steen was there. Two hands to it. Can't take the mark. O'Sullivan's there to gather for Geelong. Hand pass to Dempsey. Hand pass across to O'Connor. Hand pass to Smith. And he flicks it out wide to Neal, who's still in defensive 50. Hand pass to Dempsey. Flicks it across to Smith. He flicks it to Neal. Just a string of hand passes again from the Cats. Hand pass to Humphreys. Hand pass to Dempsey, who's at centre wing, outer side of the ground. Can put Geelong inside forward 50. Jeremy Cameron marks. It's his turn to clunk the grab. He wanted to chip it across to Manor, but the umpire will bring him back to his line, and Jeremy Cameron will have this set shot at goal.
It was a clean breakaway there and terrific ball movement, but just coming through the middle of the ground, there just wasn't enough pressure. Bremer made the comment to you just off air that I don't know what they're doing. Collingwood just feels like on transition, they're just walking and they kind of can't keep up. Don't know if it's a reaction time thing, but it just looked like a bit of a lack of effort there.
Jeremy Cameron, 45 metres out. Puts Geelong ahead by the biggest margin that they've been at today. They're out by 22 against the Pies. The Cats, 9-7-61. The Pies, 5-9-39. That's a 22-point advantage Geelong's way. 7 minutes have been played in this third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
It's funny, I need to take you back probably 4 minutes of play now where the Collingwood players messed around with the ball when they're forward 50. McStay end up getting the ball where it should have been a set shot mark and popping it up. Then it just sort of bobbles around for a couple of minutes, and then from the back, very last 30 centimetres from their goal, Geelong transitioned the ball. And that's what you're talking about, Cal. They're walking behind the football, and it looks like they're out on their feet, but that's the transition game that Geelong can do to you. They had 6 or 7 handballs and cut through Collingwood like it was simple.
Cameron's kicked a goal in each of his last 18 games against the Magpies. Out of the middle of the ground, Atkins kicks inside 50. Ollie Henry presents, gets to the back. Manor does the rest. Sean Manor slams through another one for the Cats, and it's 3 unanswered goals to start this third quarter. Geelong make their move, and they're out by 28 points. 10-7-67 to Collingwood, 5-9-39. With Darcy Moore out of the match for the Magpies, the dam wall is threatening to break. Brent Harvey and Cal Sinclair on ABC Sport.
I just looked at the body language of the Collingwood midfield after that centre clearance, and a terrific goal there from Henry. He's having a great game, Burma, but they're absolutely ropeable. I don't know what's going on, but this is going to be a massive centre bounce for for the Collingwood Football Club. All 5 of them, including all their wingers, just came together. Their heads were down, shaking their heads.
Well, that's the second goal. That's the second goal of the quarter, straight and direct from a centre bounce clearance.
And that was 2 of 3 goals that Geelong have kicked in the first 8 minutes of this match, this third quarter rather. And they've built a buffer here as De Goey tries to bring back the game in Collingwood's favour. Dribbles a kick inside forward 50. Buller has a go at it. McCreary running into it in a goal square, kicks it off the ground, and it skews off his boot, goes on a bad angle, and it's just a minor score from when he had no one in front of him in that goal square. Geelong's lead 27 points.
Gee, he's got some pace though, hasn't he? Got pace to burn.
Like a Tassie devil.
Nice. Max Holmes runs his way out of defence for Geelong. Hand pass to O'Sullivan. To Kolajasny. Loose hand pass back to Holmes. He bangs it on the boot. Up the wing. Frampton has the height advantage against Close. Close knocks it down and it goes out of play. And a boundary throw in. It's sort of starting to feel like that sort of night though. McCreary soccering off the ground or a vacant goal square. You mentioned previously Collingwood went inside 50. Had a 5-on-3 advantage. Couldn't capitalise. Cats leading by 27 points. Collingwood need to get some bang for their buck. Thrown in. De Koning up against Cameron. Cameron wins down the tap for Collingwood. O'Shea Mullen gathers alongside Nick Dacos. Hand pass to De Koning. Away to Holmes and back to Mullen. Centre of the Shane stand wing. Kicks up towards half forward. Ollie Henry uses his body well against Maynard. Side bottom comes across to support and slaps the ball out of play. Geelong 10-7-67, leading Collingwood 5-10-40. A 27-point lead at the 11-minute mark of the third quarter.
Real crucial time in the game, because if Geelong can kick the next one, it's going to be hard to come back from. Collingwood kick the next one, they stay alive.
Ball thrown in half forward for the Cats, and it's them that win the footy. Dempsey hand pass to Walpole inside 50. He goes. It's a high. It'll be paid against side bottom, and it'll be a free to Ollie Henry.
It's fair enough that, Maynard shouldn't have given away that free kick, but it's coming in just way too hot. Like every centre clearance, every stoppage, Collingwood are just completely second to the ball. Even just then, Darcy Cameron could have just taken that ball, absorbed the contest, but he just allowed Bailey Smith half his height to have an impact with the fist in the air. And these hack kicks going forward, although they're ugly, they're just putting enough pressure on Collingwood, and you tend to get a free kick because they just...
Well, Ollie Henry skips in and kicks it right into the man on the mark. So Collingwood may be able to get out of danger here. Lipinski wins it back. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. His hand pass, though, a complete turnover. Mullen will put Geelong back inside forward 50. Neal's on a 3-on-1. Couldn't win out there. Dangerfield can take it close to the boundary line. Hand pass across to Henry. He's taken in a tackle. Ball spills out. Side bottom grabs it. Hand pass to Pendlebury. Hand pass across to Maynard. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. Across to Nick Dacos. Hand pass to Anderson. He hand passes back to Pendlebury. They might be getting themselves in trouble here. No, the hand pass to De Goey will get them out of it. He hand passes back to Pendlebury, who skips around and finally puts it on his left boot. It'll get to half forward for the Pies. One bounce inside forward 50. It'll be a free, though, paid to Lawson Humphries.
A little bit confused. Why was Maynard allowed to come forward on the mark then? Was it too long that he took, or did he run off his line potentially?
I think he actually stood back a couple of steps from the mark and then charged forward. But yeah, it's an interesting...
Are you allowed to do that, are you?
I'm not sure if you are.
It's a stand rule.
I'm not sure you are. It certainly resulted in the kick going into the man on the mark from Ollie Henry.
Oh, here we go.
Cats through Bowes, back to O'Connor, skids off the turf. Elliott corrals him. The Irishman cuts inboard. Anderson slides in front, takes the intercepting mark. In front of a flat-footed Guthrie. He has McCreary into the centre square. Thought about the hand pass. Now pushes back behind his mark. He's a little slow. Hand pass to Maynard. Always a long kick from 55. Goes for home and it won't get there. Getting back, Mark O'Connor marks a couple of metres out from his defensive goal.
What was Bowes doing there? Why would that kick go back 35 metres and not hit a target? That was a bizarre option.
Jeremy Cameron gets involved inside the defensive 50. The 1-2 is Zach Guthrie. Kicks up towards Dempsey. Cleverly slapped it onto Close. He runs his full measure at left half forward. Long kick inside 50. Howe flies up. Over to Coney. Makes the spoil. Frampton's the crummer. He's tackled immediately by Neal and can't get a disposal away. The ball up in the left forward pocket for Geelong. The Cats by 27 points.
No Darcy Moore down in defence for the Pies either. With the captain out with concussion. As there's a free kick in that ruck contest going to Darcy Cameron of the Pies. They'll chip it out towards Howe. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
is very busy at the moment on the Cats bench. Reece Stanley's on the exercise bike. Tom Atkins has been with the doctor and the physios, gesturing to sort of just above his right hip bone on the front of his body. Kind of a weird spot for an injury.
Thanks, Poppy. He did go down in the 50 and just stayed down for a little bit before getting up, so hopefully he'll be all right and be able to come back on Tom Atkins. As the Pies work it down towards half forward, Schultz will put them inside forward 50. Buller in a 2-on-1, can't win it, but can push it down to Elliott. Elliott will hand pass it towards Buller, and then he's taken over the line by Jeremy Cameron, who's back down there helping out in defence for the Cats, as he so often does when they need it.
6 inside 50s for the Cats, 3 goals.
Geelong ahead by 27 points midway through the third quarter.
And in the top end, it's the Gold Coast Suns who lead St Kilda by 9 points. Thrown in to Koning, works Cameron underneath, knocks down the tap. Elliott tries to put the pressure on. Warple's hand pass wide of Jeremy Cameron goes out of play for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the Magpies, who trail by 27 points. Craig McRae coaching on the bench. Scott Pendlebury equaling Brent Harvey. Game 432 tonight. Darcy Cameron works his way to the front against the Koning. Anderson through traffic, cuts on his right. He curls it towards the teeth of goal. It's offline to the right. But that injection of pace from the youngster from the stoppage gave Collingwood a shot on goal. It's the Cats who lead by 26 points.
That would have been a handy goal. It would have absolutely brought the house down if he kicked out. Tell you what, he hit that stoppage very hard. Those don't come off Boomer, as you would know, very often. Run the
but when they do, I've seen
good.
Papley do it twice today. Gee, they look good.
Some bright sparks for Collingwood there by Angus Anderson, just his 5th game as Geelong will get the footy out of their defensive 50. Across to O'Connor, who marks the interchange gates. Warren Steele on the mark was able to tap it away, get it to Elliott, then O'Connor came in after him. And Elliott kicks it off the ground. Lawson Humphries collects, hand passes it across to Bowes, who moves it on quickly to Bruin, and he wants to put the footy inside forward 50. There's 2 Geelong players there. There was Neil and Henry. They might have ruined it for each other in the end. Ball spills to ground. De Koning's there, tries to get it out of some traffic. Picked up by Howe. Hand pass to Maynard. Hand pass to Quaynor. He's met by Martin and brought to ground. Side bottom goes sliding in after the footy, and the ball will be locked in attacking 50 for the Cats. It's Geelong ahead by 26 points. It'll be a free kick, in fact, to Isaac Quaynor. So a Collingwood ball in the back pocket.
Like, you called that quite well. Side bottom versus 2 players. Should have made a lot more of that, the Cats boys.
Quaynor out of defence to Darcy Cameron. A player was put down off the play. Sam De Koning, and a free kick is going to go his way against Lockie Schultz. So the Cats with 3 goals to Collingwood's 3 behinds in this third quarter. Geelong leading by 26 points. As De Koning sends it long in towards the goal line. Neil presents, got hands to it, can't complete the mark. Hand pass away into the pocket. Bowes shovels out a hand pass to Jeremy Cameron. Over the top, too sharp for Martin. Nick Dacos through traffic. Hand pass bounces off Anderson. Spills away as Steen. Kick from Warple, straight up in the air. Spoiled down once more by Steen. Quaynor bounces off him. Warple sidesteps. Side bottom, desperate defending by Quaynor. Gets the smother away. And it's gathered by Maynard of Collingwood. Hand pass to Frampton. Into the back pocket. Running out of room, Lipinski. He was over the boundary line as he was tackled by Matter. Throwing in the left pocket.
Set up really well outside 50 to catch you. He looked up there and there was a visual. There was just a visual of 2 or 3 Geelong players, and he had nowhere to go other than run the ball over the boundary and get tackled.
Cats have kicked 4 goals consecutively either side of half-time as the ball gets spun in inside their forward 50. Neil goes in after it, can get the ball on one boot with an arm being held, just kicks it to a hot spot. Steele's there to meet it for Collingwood, taps it away towards Schultz. He has it, he has to get rid of it. Tackled by Humphries, hand passes it away. Jeremy Cameron comes barging in. He's met by Anderson, tackled, brought to ground. And it'll be a free kick going the way of the Pies. Howe also involved in that tackle as well, as Anderson came in to help him out. Free kick to Collingwood, a little chip out to Maynard, who moves the footy on. His kick will be a turnover. Tried to be too dinky with the kick, and Holmes easily able to pick it off on the turnover. Chips in to Ollie Henry inside forward 50. This will be a set shot at goal for Geelong from directly in front, 45 metres out.
So he's played a really important role, Ollie Henry, because he's kicked 2 goals, 1. His last shot on goal didn't quite make the distance. This will be his 5th shot on goal for the evening, halfway through the third quarter.
So he played 25 games at Collingwood and came across to Geelong now in his 4th season at the Cats. He'll skip in over the red paint of 50, directly in front of goal. Ollie Henry has his 3rd. And Geelong marching on to continue to build its lead. 32 points it's now sitting at. The Cats are 11-7-73. The Pies are 5-11-41. 18 minutes played in this 3rd term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts, Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey.
I just think those players like Ollie Henry, those sort of hybrid half forwards that play high up the ground, they're good below their knees, they're good above their head, and they have impact early. I just think they're worth their weight in gold, Boomer. Like, not every week it's not their day from time to time, but if you can kind of get those guys to sort of, anywhere from, 14 to kind of 20 touches every single week, hitting the scoreboard, they're just very, very hard to replace, and they're extremely reliable.
Cal Sinclair with you on ABC Sport. Geelong with the last 4 goals of the match. Jordan Ngoe tries to hack a ball out of the middle of the ground. Spills Geelong's way. Getting back, Oscar Steen got taken high as he gets the half pass forward. And the free kick will go the way of the Collingwood ruck. He has it at the back edge of the centre square. Geelong by 32 points. Call to play on. So he looks out to the worn wing. Sends the kick, looking for Lipinski. Dempsey slides in, makes the spoil. Little toe poke looking for Ollie Henry. He's tackled by Sidebottom. Gets a hand pass forward. A bouncing ball for Houston of Collingwood. Hand pass to Lipinski to Crisp through the middle of the ground. Pendlebury with a look away. Hand pass back to Crisp. He runs through the middle of the G. Kicks for Anderson. Wide of him. Darcy Cameron down low. Can't gather. Homes for the Cats. Hand pass to Koning. One way then the other. Back to the ever-reliable Tom Stewart. In game 200, he chips it out to Bowes. He marks it right half back. He spots Tanner Bruin. All on his own at half forward. A beautiful kick finds him at right half forward. Jeremy Cameron's on the lead. Close cuts in front and takes the mark.
He timed that beautifully, Cameron, as well. I know you generally, the rule is, Boomer, you kind of call him out in front, but
he gives it away to Jeremy Cameron on the left from 50. Sends it across the face of goal.
That looked good.
And just misses to the left.
It just kept fading, didn't it? Just kept going.
So Brad Close saw what everyone else did at the MCG, that Jeremy probably wanted the mark. Gave him the footy. He misses to the left. A 33-point lead Geelong's way. 21 minutes gone, 3rd quarter. The Pies' last goal coming at the 20-minute mark of the 2nd quarter.
Dan Houston with the kick in. It'll be a turnover. He kicked it out to half-back, but DeConing was there. And he'll be putting it right back into the forward 50 for Geelong. Loads up on the kick to put it to the top of the goal square. Ball spills at the back of the pack in the end. Bounces there. Smith collects, picks it up, has a shot at goal, misses. Just a behind for Geelong, but they're certainly peppering the goals now. Their lead out to 34 points, 21 minutes in this 3rd term. 11-9 playing 5-11.
I'm not sure what time in forward half is in the 3rd quarter, but it has lived in Geelong's forward half for the last probably 5 or 6 minutes.
Brent Harvey with you on ABC Sport. Howe brought it in to Lipinski, sends it up the wing. Mark taken by Anderson. Wants to try and move it quickly because he has Buller running into space. He slides on his knees and marks it right half forward. Hard against the boundary line. Thought about coming inboard to McCreary. That option dries up as Holmes closes the angle. Buller just a little slower, getting it moving. Sends it high and long. Darcy Cameron the target. Spoiled away by DeConing. Elliott in the back. Turns goalward and slams it into the post. Into the left goal post. On another night, those would click for Jamie Elliott, but not tonight. And Collingwood still searching for a goal in this 3rd quarter. The margin is 33 points the Cats' way.
Humphries brings it in, moves it on to Holmes, who brings it across to Close. Hand pass to Smith, hand pass to Dangerfield. Puts it on his boot this time. Jeremy Cameron's there. 51 metres out. Howe tried to bump him off it. Cameron too strong. Clunks the mark and will chip this one towards Dempsey. No. Warple jumps in front of him and he takes the mark. There's Geelong players everywhere. They're stealing marks from each other. And it doesn't matter anyway because this will be a shot at goal for the Cats.
No, Loz, you were spot on. So Jeremy Cameron, the ball movement was so quick. He was just in a position of dominance there over his direct opponent. But then he looks inside 50. Warple, Dempsey and Stanley could have marked the football.
And Warple will hand this one off to Stewart. Can he get a goal in game 200? No. 55 metres out. This one's offline for the defender in his 200th game. And it's just another behind there. So Tom Stewart, he's only kicked 7 goals in his career. He has got 1 this year, but not 1 tonight. Geelong's lead, 34 points.
Pendlebury brings Collingwood back into play to Lipinski in the back pocket. He and Sidebottom are spending more time in the back half with Darcy Moore out of the game. Kicks up towards Tagoe. Can't take the mark as Stewart spoils it out of play. And a boundary throw in at left half forward for the Cats. Poppy Penny on the boundary.
Yeah, Tom Atkins went back on and came back off really, really quickly. He's gone down to the rooms with a doctor.
And you can see Darcy Moore at all down there, Poppy?
I can't yet. He's, I think, still down in the rooms from what I can gather.
So that concussion protocol at half-time. He was ruled out of the game after the head clash with O'Shea Mullen. Lawson Humphreys takes it from the stoppage, bangs it inside 50. Houston getting back. Takes the mark in front of Dangerfield and Ollie Henry. Geelong leading by 34 points. 24 minutes gone, third quarter. Short to Pendlebury. He honours the lead of Jordan Tagoe. He marks at centre-half back for the Magpies. Kicks out laterally to Lipinski. He has it at right half back, but Geelong have the grid set down the wing.
They're set up so well defensively, Geelong. Just cannot move the ball at all.
Short options is the alternative for Collingwood as Elliott leads up the wing. Marks gives it to Lipinski. Kicks up towards Cameron. De Koning tries to juggle the mark. Can't hang on to it. Trying to knock it out. Ned Long. The pressure comes from Long and also support from Rowan Steele. And the ball is locked up 55 metres out from the Collingwood goal as Connor O'Sullivan slowly gets to his feet and gives the ball back to the umpire.
Cal, the forward 50 is just so different, aren't they? Geelong put speed on the ball and going in nice and quick to one-on-ones.
McCreary works it with Long to get the ball back to have a shot at goal from the boundary. He gets bumped as he's kicking it. That's out of bounds on the full. No score for the Pies.
Collingwood are out on their feet, Bremer. Like, they just look completely exhausted.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah, they just need an injection of something, some pickle juice, some beetroot juice. I don't know what they do these days, but the running power of Geelong is just extraordinary. They're running all over them.
Pies, of course, coming off a 9-day break, having played in that draw against the Hawks, but struggling to replicate that intensity. Bailey Smith tries to keep it alive for the Cats on half-back, looking for Connor O'Sullivan, and it goes out of play. And of course, both sides have a number of players 30 years or older. The Magpies with 9, and the Cats with 7. So a couple of the oldest lists going around in the AFL. Facing off on a Saturday night. Geelong by 34 points, thrown back in. Steen wins down the tap for the Pies. Bailey Smith tries to get them on the bottom of the pack. Stanley just shovels it out. Guthrie gets a hand pass away for the Cats, clears the congestion. Houston for Collingwood. Hand pass to Lipinski, to Maynard, to Pendlebury. On the left, he dinks a kick inside 50. Anderson caught behind against Warple. Stanley's the crummer. Hand pass looking for Guthrie. It's volleyed in the end by Warple. Clears the congestion. Crisp got it down to Darcy Cameron. Hand pass to Elliott. He might have thrown that. Flicked it out to Rowan Steele.
A bit of volleyball.
Goal.
A bit of volleyball with a spike.
What was a spike.
Looked like Shane Heal at the 96 Olympics.
As soon as he did it, he went,
the hammer.
Get away with that. Jamie Elliott gives away the free kick, and Jack Bowes will take the free kick for the Cats inside the defensive 50.
I'm on fire today.
It's a beetroot juice. That's the specialty these days.
God.
So Geelong.
It's been a long day.
The Tiki arc.
The Tiki arc. The same two sides, the VFL and Channel 2 between these two sides, and now the AFL sides of the MCG. The ball will be picked off by the Pies, though. It's centre wing, outer side of the ground. McCreary with it, wants to share it with Darcy Cameron. Cameron across to Anderson by hands. It's not the greatest hand pass towards Tagoe. He has to slap it away on the turf. Picked up by Buller. Hand passes backwards to Lipinski. Hand pass to Maynard. He'll pop it on his left boot. Crisp inside forward 50. Standing alone takes the mark. Bowes came in late, tapped it out of his hands, but there'll be no 50. Crisp will have to kick from about 45 metres out, directly in front.
They're not on the same page, Collingwood, I must say. Like, they're very well drilled in some parts of their game, but today, going inside 50, they're just completely disconnected, Bremer. It just doesn't feel like there's any sort of method. They're handballing around the arc, which is very odd. They're overusing that part of their game.
Haven't kicked a goal since the 20-minute mark of the second term. Crisper's kick is offline. So they'll stay without a goal. Now we're in the 28-minute mark of the third term. Geelong's lead 33 points.
They've managed 4 behinds in this third quarter, the Magpies. To the Cats, 4 goals for. Geelong work it through, half back. O'Sullivan comes inboard. Warple marks at the back edge of the centre square and swing it to De Koning, who's charging away from Darcy Cameron at right half back. Kicks up to Manor, bounces in front of him. Rowan Steele gets back for Collingwood. Hasn't gathered it cleanly, though. Hand pass over his head. Quainer has to deal with the pressure from Manor. Hand pass to Josh Dacos, to Rowan Steele. treading ground as he backpedaled and controlled it well. Kicks to Pendlebury at centre half back. Can he create something in game 4-3-2? Kicks up to Jordan Ngoe. And he only has Ned Long one-on-one inside 50, so he buys some time and waits for players to charge from behind. Lipinski's one of them. Takes the mark, kicks inside 50, and Long leads up and takes the mark. Almost Collingwood's best passage of play since the second quarter.
That was a really bad miss by De Koning right in front of us. Just there. He had Manor, who was, I don't know, I'm going to say 30 metres all on his own. And it was a terrible kick. A forward of that, Close had made space as well. Geelong were going to score from that. Now they're going to get scored against.
2 goals, 4 for Ned Long so far this season. Collingwood with 5 behinds in the third quarter. Looking to start the climb back. He misses to the right-hand side. So 6 behinds in this third quarter away of the Pies, and the Cats lead by 32 points. Meanwhile, in Darwin, it's the Suns who lead by 15 points. Final quarter action there against the Saints.
Chloe Penny on the boundary.
Max Holmes just had to do a little bit of technical repairs on the Geelong sign where they put up the numbers for the interchange. He's fixed it, though, apparently.
Thanks, Poppy, as Geelong work it down the northern wing. Bruin just puts it on his boot, dribbles its way down to half forward. Will be collected by Houston. Hand passes it across to Howes, or kicking to the centre of the MCG. Side bottoms there, Marks. Looks behind him and sees Nick Dacos. But doesn't want to retreat. Looks left, then right, then left again, and kicks it out to Houston. Left half back for the Pies. Late stages of this third term. It's Geelong ahead by 32 points. Kick out to Maynard, who goes for a little jog and then chips it to Pendlebury. Marks right in front of the benches. Hand passes to Maynard, who's kept running on. He chips it to Schultz, 52 metres out from goal for the Pies. Desperate for a late one. Almost looks to hand pass it back to Maynard, then swings around, puts it on his boot himself, and he goes towards a hot spot where McStay juggles the mark at the end, but it's after the siren. And it means that Geelong will head into the three-quarter time break with a 32-point advantage. They built it from half-time where they were leading by 10 points. Now out by 32 at the final change. It's Geelong 11-10-76, leading Collingwood 5-14-44 in the match where Pendlebury now equals Boomer Harvey with the most games played ever in AFL history. 432 tonight. Geelong ahead by 32 points, though, at three-quarter time. The goal kickers tonight, 3 to Ollie Henry, 2 to Brad Close, 2 to Jack Martin, singles to Jeremy Cameron, Sean Manor, Ollie Dempsey and Shannon Neal. And then on the Collingwood side of things, a couple of goals to Dan McStay, 1 to Jack Buller, 1 to Scott Pendlebury and 1 to Josh Dacos.
Geelong leading by 32 points at three-quarter time at the MCG. The Suns out by 21 points over the Saints in the top end. The Gold Coast Suns 12-9-81 to St Kilda 8-12-60. So final quarter action there where the Suns have taken control in that contest. 3 goals for Ben King in the match in the top end. Great to have your company on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport.
A tray of cocktails floated at us through the twilight. Who was this Gatsby fella?
A jazz-soaked reimagining of The Great Gatsby.
That's the best thing a girl can be in this world. A beautiful little fool.
Search for Gatsby in Harlem on ABC Listen.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Right from the middle, it will be taken by O'Shea Mullen, who pulls it away, kicks it down to Smith, and pass away to Dempsey, straight towards goal in the opening seconds of the third quarter. What a start for Geelong. Dempsey flicks it across to Smith, he flicks it to Neal, just a string of hand passes again from the Cats, hand pass to Humphreys, hand pass to Dempsey, who's at centre wing, outer side of the ground, can put Geelong inside forward 50, Jeremy Cameron marks. Jeremy Cameron 45 metres out. Puts Geelong ahead by the biggest margin that they've been at today.
Out of the middle of the ground, Atkins kicks inside 50. Ollie Henry presents, gets to the back. Manor does the rest. Sean Manor slams through another one for the Cats, and it's 3 unanswered goals to start this third quarter.
Maynard, who moves the footy on. His kick will be a turnover. Tried to be too dinky with the kick, and Holmes easily able to pick it off on the turnover. Chips in to Ollie Henry inside forward 50. This will be a set shot at goal for Geelong over the red paint of 50, directly in front of goal. Ollie Henry has his third.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Three-quarter time of the MCG. Geelong have all the answers at the moment. They lead by 32 points, 11-10-76. The Magpies 5-14-44. Matt Clinch and Lauren Borton calling the action. Poppy Penny down on the boundary. Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey, your experts. Darcy Moore out of the game with concussion protocol just ahead of half-time. And the Pies would have to double their score if they're to overrun the Cats. That's the task ahead. Cal and Boomer looks unlikely at this stage.
I think you're spot on. 16 inside 50s to Geelong, 4 goals. 17 inside 50s to Collingwood, no goals. So a total of 44 inside 50s to 38. Collingwood are actually leading it by 6, but I think, Cal, you called it pretty well during that quarter. The run that Geelong had left in their legs, and Collingwood just looked like they were out on their feet. In your words, and you're absolutely spot on. The transition of Geelong kicking easy goals again, and it's been a little bit of a theme of the night, Cal, for me. They've kicked some pretty easy goals out the back, and they've got their one-on-ones, and they've slipped behind their opponents, but their ball movement's been so slick and so quick that they've been able to do it. The Collingwood defenders are just nowhere to be seen. And that's the transition part I'm talking about. And to kick 4 goals to 0 in a quarter sets you up to win, leading by 32 points. The game's pretty much done right there for me.
Well, I think if you're a coach and you're watching the first probably 3 centre bounces of that quarter, they were completely beaten coming out the front of the stoppage. Ollie Henry was just outstanding, putting a presence, but I saw the body language of those midfielders after probably the first, 5 or 6 minutes. Like, they were just absolutely sort of dejected. To their credit, they got the game back in their forward half a little bit, but I just think defensively, in their the defensive structure of Geelong, like, they've done so well today. I just feel like Collingwood have just got no answers. I've never really seen them that disconnected sort of going forward. They're handballing the footy around the arc. They're dropping sort of basic handballs, making some really ordinary decisions by foot going inside 50, but it's been well publicised, but they are crying out for a key forward, and I don't think they need a key forward. If that key forward comes in and kicks 60, 70 goals, great, but it just gives them a bit of structure and a bit of a focus, because they've got really no one other than Buller at times that actually can kind of come at the footy. I think it's not a great strategy just to rely on Steen and Darcy Cameron to have to get down that long down the line all the time. I think that's really, really hard for them to do.
So question for you, do you think it's Collingwood's ball movement because they haven't got a forward? And I'm looking at metres gained right now. They're nearly plus 600 Geelong on, and I feel like they take the ball forward more, and Collingwood play a bit of a methodical switch back if they need to. Do you think that's their ball movement stagnated because there's no big forward coming at the football?
I think they've looked up a few times, particularly there was 3 or 4 passages of play at the back end of that quarter where they've looked up and they've actually had no one to sort of kick to. It's really hard to describe unless you're sort of out there and you're a football person, but you need to sort of have that focal that that it's your get out of jail sort of free card. I don't reckon they've got that.
Elliot or Stay, who the two
McStay does play that at time, but his style of play is more high up the ground, hard running. But they sort of need a Neil would be perfect for them. Like I said, if it's a 50, 60, 70 goal player, that's great. But it's more of a structural setup that I think will really help them.
Remembering that they did get rid of Myercheck and Mason Cox last year as well.
Yeah.
So the inside 50s, 45 to 38 the way of the Magpies. But it's the Cats who lead by 32 points as we get the final term underway. Reece Stanley rises up against Darcy Cameron. And it's O'Shea Mullen who gets a high kick into the middle of the ground. Jet Martin leads up, gathers the footy for Geelong. Out past to Stanley, sidesteps the tackler. All of a sudden he's got Manor all on his own. Inside 50, steadies. This would be a hammer blow. Slams through his second. Geelong with a goal inside the opening 25 seconds. As they did in the third quarter through Ollie Dempsey. This time Sean Manor makes no mistake. And you've got to think that's a defensive lapse from the Magpies for him to end up with so much space. A 38-point lead Geelong's way. 12-10-82 to the Magpies. 5-14-44.
This is identical to the third quarter from centre bounce. I reckon if you were Craig McRae, I know he's not in the box, but if you're in the box, you'd be scratching your head with your midfielders going, guys, why is it coming out like the way it is? Like, some of you guys are stuck in concrete. Like, is it a personnel thing? Are you just getting out? Is it work rate, Broomer? I don't know.
Well, certainly I'm not sure which Collingwood player pressed in defence, though, because they left Manor.
Houston.
Houston, was it? It left Manor there for... They had yards and yards and time and space.
So back in the middle now. Stanley going after it. Smith will win a free kick right out of the middle and will just put the ball on his boot, go inside, forward 50. Dangerfield on the lead, got some space and takes a strong mark with his hands out ahead of him.
They're cooked, Collingwood, at the moment.
And they've got to be a little bit careful here, Cal, because this could blow out to a really, really big win.
Margin currently sitting at 38 points. Geelong 6th on the ladder coming into tonight. Collingwood 8th on the table. Paddy Dangerfield now with a chance to just continue to blow out this margin for the Cats. 45 metres out. Paddy Dangerfield kicks towards the sticks and puts it through for the Cats. Geelong push out to a 44-point lead. Early stages of this fourth term. There's still a long time to go in this match. And Geelong are 13-10-88. Collingwood 5-14-44.
So 2 goals in 2 minutes, both from centre bounces.
Yep. Significant issue they've got to look at, and that was just a silly free kick. And well, if you're second in the ball, you tend to give away free kicks, but I really like Patrick Dangerfield's sort of role he's playing. I could be wrong. Doesn't seem like he's fussed playing that sort of position at the moment. I think Geelong are pretty comfortable to realise, look, he's not going to kick 3 every week or get 20-plus touches, but he is physical down there. Someone has to go to him. He'll take a pretty good defender. Just wondering how far they'll go with that sort of this year.
12 disposals and a goal for Patrick Dangerfield tonight. Stanley wins down the tap. Josh Dacos in the centre square. Swoops on for Collingwood. Kicks over the head of Buller and getting back. Kolajasny takes the mark for the Cats. Geelong with the last 6 goals of the match. Chips it out to Humphreys. He can work it up to Jack Martin. He takes the mark at right half back. Back inside the defensive 50 by a foot. Finds Lawson Humphreys once more. He combines with Holmes. Works it to Bailey Smith. Kick mark game for the Cats as they're just finding avenues. Kolajasny marks at half-back, plays on. Hand pass to O'Shea Mullen and out of Tom Stewart in game 200. Tries to draw Lipinski. Hand pass slapped on by Mullen. Got it to Dempsey. Hand pass to Close. They're finding loose players here. Chips it inside 50 and Shannon Neal takes the mark in front of Dan Houston. It's fair to say without Darcy Moore in the second half, the Collingwood defence has been in all sorts.
At speed on ball too, though. You've got to remember that because it is coming in. So there's 8 possessions by Geelong that was unmanned by Collingwood at all. And it was just... And I've written on my book in the first couple of quarters, easy goals, and we've spoken about the easy goals. And this, if he kicks this, it's another easy goal.
Has 1 goal so far tonight. Shannon Neal out to the left from just inside 50. Strikes it offline to the right, and it's almost kept alive by Stanley. In the end, it's rushed through by Billy Frampton. He tried the ruck to tap it back into play. Collingwood see it through for a minor score. 45-point lead the way of the Cats as we played 4 minutes in the final term.
Looks like there might be a little sprinkling of rain, perhaps, Poppy Penny?
There is a little sprinkling of rain, Lauren, you're right. Just a little drizzle, but it's not going to make this game any cleaner, I don't think.
So ball brought back in by Collingwood. Geelong turning over at centre wing. A little hand pass from Dempsey towards Sullivan. Was a little off, and Dempsey apologises for it. Last touch rule will mean that Patrick Lipinski will gain possession. So Lipinski, defensive half of the ground for the Pies. Darts the kick off to DeGoey. He marks in front of the interchange gates. Pies haven't scored a goal since Scott Pendlebury, the 20-minute mark of the second term. We're now in the 5th minute of the final term as DeGoey runs past Dempsey, puts this kick to the top of the 50. In comes McStay, going in for a second effort, takes it and takes the tackle by Holmes over the boundary line for a throw-in, now at half forward for the Pies. So Geelong's lead now at 45 points. They've kicked the last 7 goals of the match consecutively, looking for their 6th win of the season.
There wasn't a lot of movement. DeGoey had the ball then, and Collingwood just saying go down the line. Very stagnant.
Ball tossed in. Crisp running in after it. Can gather the footy. Tries to fend off Bowes. Can get a little kick away. It'll go inside forward 50 for Collingwood. A couple of defenders were around the footy. They couldn't take possession of it. Schultz had a go at it. Then Martin came in to lock things up. And so did O'Connor. And we'll have a ball up now. About 35 metres out from Collingwood's goal. Geelong ahead by 45 points 5 minutes into this last term.
Thrown up. Darcy Cameron tries to knock it down. Schultz on the move. Runs straight into Bailey Smith as he's tackled by him. And Lawson Humphrey 35 metres out from Magpies goal at the city end of the MCG. And 2 rucks tangle once more. Stanley tries to reach over the top. Bailey Smith gathers. Hand pass to Mark O'Connor. Almost spored away. Stanley got it to Oisin Mullen and out of Bowes. The runner Bailey Smith at half back. Dodging and weaving away from Houston. Great kick on the instep, but turns it over looking for Shannon Neal. And Billy Frampton hugs it to his chest. Geelong by 45 points. As Frampton looks up towards Darcy Cameron at half forward. He leads up with Stanley in tow. Stanley makes the spoil. Thumped away by Jack Bowes. It goes straight up in the air. Houston can't gather. Bailey Smith does. Hand pass to Stanley. Too slow. Tackle by McCreary. Got it away, says the umpire. Holmes' hand pass is a turnover. McCreary gets it this time. Hand pass to Josh Dacos in the midfield of this last quarter. Trying to get it to McStay in the back spot. And in the end, O'Connor does enough in front to see it out of play for a throw-in the right forward pocket for the Pies. Full time in the top end, and the Gold Coast Suns have recorded a pretty comfortable win there over the Saints in the end, a 29-point victory.
As the ball's tossed it inside forward 50 here at the MCG. It's gathered by Elliott. Hand pass across to Nick Dacos, tight angle boundary. This will be out of bounds on the full, and a Geelong free.
Have you seen that matchup now, Cal? Dacos has had 24 disposals.
I think Foley's done a pretty good job, to be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's had a Mullins. Sorry, I think Mullins had. Sorry about that. I think Mullins had a pretty good job.
17 touches himself.
Yeah, might feature in your votes potentially.
So Geelong work
good
with
handball.
out. Dangerfield down to Bowes. There's always got to be a handball this time of the night. Bowes hand passes it to Bruin. Hand pass to Smith. He flicks it inside forward 50 towards Neal. Frampton was close on him. Neal goes and digs the footy out from the grass. Hand passes it to Bowes. He'll have a shot at goal for Geelong.
Done his finger. Shannon Neal, I think.
Yeah, his finger's out and he's just tried to put it on the... Picture this. So he's put his hand on the ground as hard as he can and smashed it with the other hand to try to get his finger back in. The trainer's gone out to him now.
I used to hate that as a player. It happened to me a few times. Gives me the ears.
From rucking or marking, or how did you do?
I kicked in the thumb once and that came out.
He's got his head just cocked as he's trying to get the physio to pop it back into play. The Magpies have turned it over. Quainer from half back. His kick is over the head of Lockie Schultz and it skids off the turf. And a lasso free kick going the way of the Cats. Geelong by 46 points. Tom Stewart takes the free kick inboard to Humphreys and he works it to the Irishman O'Connor to get it to pop back in.
The trainer got it in, yes.
He's still out there, Shannon Neal. Up the wing. Sean Manor takes the mark. He wants to try and move it quickly. One-on-ones inside 50. Neal's, in fact, the extra. He marks over the top of Frampton and Ollie Henry. And that finger looks to be okay. He marks in the right forward pocket for Geelong.
It was really well done and nearly could have been a free kick against, but Ollie Henry just was keeping Frampton away and knew that Neal was coming over the top, and it was really, really well done.
Shannon Neal has booted one goal so far tonight. From his 14 disposals, 1-1. In the right forward pocket on a 45-degree angle, kicking from about 35 metres out. For another one for the Cats, for 7 on the bounce. He puts through his second and gestures towards the Geelong fans to say get up and get about. The Cats lead by 52 points at the 10-minute mark of the final term. The Cats 14-12-96 to Collingwood 5-14-44. The Magpies have not kicked a goal since the 20-minute mark of the second quarter. Cal Sinclair and Brent Harvey, your experts on ABC Sport.
8 in a row, Cal.
Yeah.
8 in a row after Pendlebury kicked that goal at the 19-minute mark of the second quarter. Jack Martin slotted one at the 21st minute of that quarter, and they've kicked the next 7 from there. So 8 in a row, and like I said, they've got to be a little bit careful, the Pies here. This could go out to a 12-goal defeat.
Geelong have won 6 of the past 8 matches against the Pies by an average of 20 points. It is in danger of heading out a long way past that. It's currently 52. As play restarts in the middle. Mullins brought to ground. And it'll be a ball up in the centre of the MCG. De Koning tries to grab it out himself, palms it down. Long will pick it up for the Pies, gets tackled by Warple. Just a little kick out. Will be in the path of Humphreys, who tries to pick it up. Schultz knocks him out of the way. Then he has a go at pushing it out towards Anderson. Can pick it up. Hand pass to McStay, who spins around and will put Collingwood inside forward 50. O'Connor coming back punches it away from Elliott in the forward pocket. And we'll have a throw-in inside forward 50 for the Pies. And towards the city end in this final quarter. 11 minutes played in the final term. Geelong ahead by a game-high 52 points.
Cats with 3 goals, 2 in this final term. Collingwood haven't scored. Steen in front, tries to get it down. Schultz on the run. Somehow jams it through the major opening. And Collingwood will take it any way they can get it at the moment. Their first goal since the 20-minute mark of the second quarter. And finally, the Magpies army has a reason to rise. The margin back to 46 points Geelong's way. 14-12-96 to Collingwood 6-14-50. And as Boomer mentioned, that cuts a run of 9 consecutive goals the way of the Cats.
Yeah, it was a good goal in the end by Schultz. Really well read off the ball in, but again, they've worked pretty hard for that goal. They had to make something out of nothing versus the Geelong Football Club just doing what they want, waltzing in, kicking simple goals. But a classy finish by Schultz. His type of weather. Rain's coming down, small forwards get to work.
13 players for Collingwood, only having 1 possession this quarter. It just clearly shows that not one of them can get their hands on the ball at the source.
Versus
3 for the Cats.
Koning goes in after the footy for Geelong. Might have got up a little sore as well. It's Collingwood a little emerge with the clearance. McCreary hand passes it across to Lipinski and then gets it back right half forward. Shanks the kick off his boot. It'll bobble its way inside forward 50 though. Anderson can pick it up, share it with Lipinski, then get it back, shoves it on his boot. There's another one for Collingwood late.
What a goal.
That was a great goal.
Not bad from Anderson, who puts this one through. They showed some promising signs for the Pies tonight, and now they've got a couple of goals in a minute after not scoring one since the 20-minute mark of the second term. They cut back the margin to 40 points, Geelong's advantage. The Cats are 14-12-96. The Pies are 7-14-56. 13 minutes have been played in this final term at the MCG.
I couldn't agree with you more, Loz, in terms of he has shown some signs, particularly since he's actually come into, the AFL side. He has actually, his work rate tonight's been very, very good. He's actually found himself in some really, really good spots. He hasn't been used a number of times. I've watched him sort of really bolt hard forward and really find some space, but just the lack of efficiency from Collingwood, he just hasn't had an opportunity to be used.
Here comes his 6th individual goal kicker. Anderson for Collingwood, back in the middle of the ground. Bailey Smith gets the clearance, hand pass to Warple, drives a kick inside 50. Shannon Neal presents, Frampton makes the spoil. Bose goes racing after it at half forward, gathers in front of Rowan Steele, kicks inside 50. Frampton spoils once more against Shannon Neal. Side bottom can't gather. Dangerfield gets down low. Tackled by Lipinski. Our pass comes out to Manor. Tries to get it to Bose in the right forward pocket. Back boundary side to Manor. He looks towards the sticks and fires it through from the right forward pocket. Arms outstretched from Sean Manor as he puts through his third. He was impressed, which says a little about how classy that was. The mature age recruit for the Cats with a goal to remember, and it's back out to a 46-point lead. Brings up the ton, 15-12-102 to Collingwood 7-14-56. Boomer Harvey, as a small forward, you love them when you jag it from the right forward pocket.
It was fantastic work, first of all, from Patrick Dangerfield to dive on the ball. He's probably the most determined player when he's on his knees to get back to his feet. But let me explain this. So Sean Manners running towards the boundary, 25 metres out, right foot to the boundary. And instead of centering the ball, Cal, as I would have done, or kick a banana, he has kicked a drop punt that just shouldn't go through. So, sensational goal.
I think you did the Jason Ackermanis hand over the mouth at the end as well, if you don't mind, Sean Manor. As from the middle, Smith will kick it forward for Geelong again. Henry running past it. It'll bobble its way inside forward 50 for the Cats, but here's Scott Pendlebury to pick it up for the Pies. Just chips it out to Steen. Hand pass across to Nick Dacos. Hand pass to Maynard. And they'll switch it across to the southern wing as he chips to Howe. Puts it down the wing and it goes right over the top of Steele's head. And easily Guthrie comes in to take the intercepting mark for the Cats. Chips it to Mullen, who marks. On the logo outer side of the ground, he's just ahead of Schultz. And he wants to switch it across to the northern side of the ground. Goes right across to Dempsey, who marks and plays on quickly. Hand passing it to O'Connor. Puts this kick inside forward 50 for the Cats again. Dangerfield pops up at the right time in the middle of a bunch of players and conks the mark.
Now, I made the point that he'll get rewarded at some point for his hard work today. He's not the player that, he's going to go out there and get 35 touches in the midfield and be everywhere and be just absolutely dominating all over the ground. But what he does do when the ball gets near him, I've never seen a player just draw and suck so many players to him. And I just think today, if he can put this through, 2 goals today would be a great recognition for a lot of hard work he's done.
Such a joy to watch. Paddy Dangerfield for his second tonight. He's got it. He'll collect a couple of high fives as well as he starts his run to the bench for a little break. Geelong's lead is 52 points. The crowd posted as well. 83,166 here in the audience tonight. Scott Pendlebury's 432nd game, but Geelong 52 points to the good at the 16-minute mark of the fourth term. 16-12-108 playing the Pies, 7-14-56.
Do you still think he's got the ability, Bremer, to punch out big minutes in the midfield at this stage of his career?
I don't think he needs to, and I don't think Geelong need to. Adding, you got Bruin through there now, adding Bailey Smith, James Warple. They've actually got a little bit more depth than what they had in the last couple of years, and I totally agree. I couldn't agree more with you, Cal. I think he's a danger. Choose the language. He's a massive danger up forward because he kicks 2 goals. If he does that every week, he's played a huge part for him.
7 goals for the season in just his 5th game. Back in the middle, Jack Crisp off the outside of the boot, going back with a flight to go, he can't mark. Warple makes the spoil. Schultz leads the foot race, tries to sock it off the ground. McStay one direction, the other direction O'Connor. O'Connor for the Cats, taps it out towards Guthrie, can't gather. Schultz against the boundary line, can't keep it in play. And Paddy Dangerfield coming towards you, Poppy Penny on the bench, so a well-earned break for the Geelong captain, 36 years of age.
Yeah, exactly right. He is having a well-earned break. But Lawson Humphries has been off getting his hand restrapped. It looks like he split the webbing between a couple of his fingers, and they spent a long time trying to stop the bleeding.
And still a bit of light rain?
Yeah, very much. It's getting less light, actually, Clinchy.
Cats by 52 points. Josh Dacos ran into a dead end as he tried to break away, and Bowes locks him up. Geelong by 52 points, 16-12-108 to the Pies, 7-14-56. Umpire throws it aloft to Koenig, gets rid of Steed and then kicks up towards Close. He's tackled by Pendlebury. And a chance to get a disposal away. And the umpire will ball it up.
You forget how many birds there are at the MCG.
I thought you'd mention that.
Oh, they're everywhere. Is this normal?
They got the wires across the G, and it shouldn't happen, should it?
Well, they were meant to be 83,000 here. I think quite a few of them have gone home. Maybe the Seagulls are seeing the chips and what's left behind under the seats. The ball tossed
It's outrageous.
It's punched away into Collingwood's attacking 50. O'Connor hand pass across to Stewart. Hand pass to Bruin as Geelong trying to exit defensive 50. Bruin moves his way around his opponent beautifully. Hand passes it to Guthrie, who hand passes it to Smith. Kicks right down the line. Neil just sticks up his hands at half forward, plunks the mark, chips into Jeremy Cameron, almost dances off his mark, but then decides he'll have a shot at goal. Cameron will take his kick 45 metres out. Looks like he'll go the snap. Got a goal so far tonight already. Jeremy Cameron squeezes the ends of the footy. Stands on his side to get ready for the snap. To put this one towards goal. It's offline for a minor score for Jessup. Geelong's lead 53 points. We're just about to tick into extra time of this final term.
Collingwood have Sydney at the SCG next Friday night, so it doesn't get any easier. Houston through the middle of the ground, spots up long, takes a good mark, hand pass to Josh Dacos, gets it forward to Schultz. Elliott's the deepest target, it won't get to him. And in front, Mark O'Connor hugs it to his chest. Pies have tried to get out of the back on numerous occasions tonight, but they haven't been able to transition well enough. Bowes kicks out to Jeremy Cameron. He's had 8 score involvements for the match tonight, Jezza, as he marks it right half back. He has played higher up the ground and has allowed Shannon Neal to play deeper.
Well, they've got a good balance of goal kickers. They haven't relied on Cameron to kick it back tonight. What have they got? Neal's kicked 2 goals, 1.
8 goal kickers.
Kicked it out on the full.
Paddy Dangerfield's kicked 2. Manners had 3. Close has had 2. Martin's had 2. Henry's had 3. It's a good sign for their forward half.
And it certainly looked more threatening than Collingwood when they've gone inside 50 as Jeremy Howe takes the free kick. Keep in mind, Darcy Moore was subbed out of the game Taken out of the game at half-time with concussion. Off hands, Darcy Cameron, hand pass away to Buller. Standing start, steers it through for a goal. Buller puts through his second. A bit of late joy for the Magpies. With the third goal in this final term to Geelong's 5. And the margin is back to 47 points the Cats' way. 16-13, 109 to Collingwood, 8-14-62.
They've just got to, Cal, they've just got to scramble for everything, don't they? I mean, that's not an easy goal. It's come off, it's gone in long, it's come forward. And it was a good finish in the end, don't get me wrong, by Buller, but everything's been really scrappy versus Geelong just transitioning the football. And I'm sure we'll be able to dissect it a little bit later after the game, but nothing's come easy for Geelong, for Collingwood tonight.
No, they're just lacking some running power, I feel, and you just felt, I don't know, the back end of the second, they just really, it's not fitness is an issue, it's just that they're just looking exhausted and there's no energy sort of given in their run.
Of course, Darcy Moore out since half-time with concussion. As from the middle, it will be the Pies. Cameron with a looping hand pass to De Goey, who's brought down in a tackle by Warple. And it'll be a ball up at half-forward.
It's a good sign to be so desperate at that stage of the game, James Warple, who's fighting for his spot to be a consistent member in this side.
Stanley gets a little tap out to Warple, who kicks right down almost to half-forward where Martin can pick it up, move it across to Mullen, who'll chip this one inside forward. 50, Ollie Henry on the lead. Has a mark. Grasps it, and we'll get another shot at goal.
Again, as we seen at the start of the game, Cal, lowering your eyes, just having an easy target coming up at the football to receive a ball in 15, 20 metres of space. Just drop your eyes, pop the kick up, let the forward do the work. We've seen that numerous of times tonight by Geelong.
He's had plenty of the footy tonight, Ollie Henry. He's already kicked 3 goals. He puts this one towards goal. It sways off to the left and it'll just be a minor score. So 48 points is what Geelong's lead moves out to. They led by 10 points at half-time, 32 points at three-quarter time. It's now 48.
Quainer with the kick in duties, long towards Anderson, can't juggle the mark. First on though, hand pass to Pendlebury, looking for Nick Dacos. So Sheen Mullen's never been far away. Lays the tackle as he gets the hand pass away to Maynard across half back. Up to brother Josh Dacos, who takes the mark. Playing in the midfield in this final quarter. Possession number 24 coming up for Josh. As he kicks up towards half forward. Anderson caught behind, has to spoil against Stewart. Ball spills out to Bailey Smith of Geelong. Took a long time to get rid of it, holding the ball as he tried to spin out of traffic. And Anderson will get the free kick for the Pies. Hand pass corridor to Josh Dacos. Gets a hand pass away to De Goey. Kicks centrally, looking for Scott Pendlebury. In game 432, he chips it wide to right half forward. Darcy Cameron takes the mark. Geelong have everyone bar a couple of players inside the defensive 50, but Darcy Cameron just spots up Bo McCreary and leads up right on 50. This will take his absolute best.
Yes, especially late in the game too. Harder to kick. He's lining up. Looks pretty confident. He's going to have to kick this one, 55 metres, I'm tipping.
He's stretching the hamstrings before he has the shot. It's a sign. 16 disposals, 1 behind for Bo McCreary, who sets flight from 52. It's offline to the left. McStay flies, can't come down with the footy. Off hands Humphreys to Stanley. Away to Bowes, a clearing kick up towards half back. O'Sheen Mullen will run onto this for Geelong.
He races on him. He was going so quick like a road runner. He overran it, then had to go back and collect it. Hand passes it to Smith, who kicks down the Shane Warne stand wing towards Jeremy Cameron. Little fingertip. Henry was at the back trying to gather. Howe has a go. In the end, Maynard picks it up. Hand passes it across to Houston. And he puts the kick into the centre of the G, where Crisp will mark and goes back on his line, holds on to it. Geelong ahead by 48 points as Crisp puts the kick out wide. Schultz running onto it, tried to take it over Smith, and it'll be a free kick against Schultz, who's furious.
Yeah, he jumped and went. He didn't touch the ball. That was the thing. You don't touch the ball in a marking attempt, you get pinged for it.
So he flew over Bailey Smith, who takes the free kick. His kick, though, could be a turnover here as Howes comes in front and takes the ball. His hand pass, though, will be picked up by Guthrie, who steals it. But then Houston's there to steal it back for the Pies. Hand pass across to Steele. His hand pass, a turnover late in this game, getting a little messy. Neil has it. He's taken in a tackle by Crisp. That's holding the footy. Or incorrect disposal, really, as Neil drops it to the turf and Jack Crisp will take the free kick for Collingwood. His side trailing by 48 points, 25 minutes gone in the final term.
Chris kicks out towards Darcy Cameron, skidding off the greasy turf. He reels it in front of Guthrie, but he's going to chip it back, and Dan Houston takes the mark. Works it over the top to Rowan Steele. 26 minutes gone in the final term. Steele inside 50. Stewart in front, can't complete the mark. Anderson made the spoil. Manners back in defence, trying to help out. Over the top comes Schultz, and the footy is locked underneath those two. It's a 48-point lead the Cats' way.
Bailey Smith just keeps turning up, doesn't he? 507 metres gain. He's had 35 touches. He's just a running machine.
6 clearances, 5 inside 50s for the number 3 for Geelong. Gathered by Jamie Elliott. Hand pass to McCleary. Goes straight up in the air from Bo McCreary. Buller tries to have an attack at it. Slapped away from Jamie Elliott. He thought he had his arms chopped up, I didn't agree. Stewart in game 200. Hand pass too sharp for Bruin. Spills off Nick Dacos to McCreary, to Chris, to Houston, who chips it to Rowan Steele. It's wide of him. Races after it. Manor after him. Desperate to lay another tackle and locks the footy underneath him. Sean Manor, who's kicked 3 goals tonight, 2 in the final term. It's still working hard inside the defensive 50.
83,000 at the G tonight. A lot of cleared out as Cameron tries to take it directly from the stoppage. His hand pass picked off by Stanley, and then Chris comes in to put some pressure on, but it is Geelong that can exit defensive 50 via a Bailey Smith hand pass close to the boundary line. Rowan Steele keeps it in play for the Pies. His hand pass picked up by Houston. Hand pass to Cameron, 51 metres out from goal. Just shoves it on his boot to get to a hot spot. Brought to ground by McStay. Ball spills out the back, and De Koning can pick it up for Geelong. Hand pass to Dempsey. Hand pass to Tom Stewart. Game 100. Right back pocket for Geelong. Puts this kick out to a pack, but it'll be coming back his way as Houston intercepts it for Collingwood and has it at left half forward for the Pies.
Dan Houston veers out to the right, trying to find an option, and he does. McCreary leads up. Takes the mark in front of Connor O'Sullivan directly in front. He's about 5 metres closer than his previous shot. And once more, try and test his leg to see if he can carry the distance.
Well, the last one missed by about 10 metres, so if he kicks it the same ball, it's still going to fall short.
And let's do a little Brent Harvey and try and maximise the player on the mark who can't really move. Try and pinch a couple of metres. 20th disposal coming out for Bo McCreary, who winds himself up. Didn't hit this well at all, and it lands about 20 metres short. And Lawson Humphries,
story of the night,
hugs it to his chest.
That was one of the worst kicks I've ever seen. Oh, there we go. That was the second worst kick, because that was the worst.
Sliding in, Dan McStay takes the mark in the right forward pocket. Sound the siren. 28 minutes gone. Final term. McStay opens up the angle, curls it on his left, and puts through his 3rd of the night. Collingwood with 4 goals to Geelong's 5-4 in the final term, and the margin is back to 42 points the Cats' way. 16-14, 110 to Collingwood, 9-14, 68 in front of 83,166 fans, while earlier the Gold Coast Suns defeated the Saints by 29 points, their 9th win on the trot in the top end.
I know the feeling, Boomer, when you have kicks like that. It's just get me off this field. It's been a rough second half in particular for Collingwood. Shown a couple of glimpses of fight in this last quarter just to hit the scoreboard, but way too little too late. It's been a tough night. I don't know where you're going to see them. We'll dissect it after the game, but
4 goals to 9 in the second half.
Yeah.
They've kicked the last 2.
Still a little bit of time left in this match as Warple wins it out of the middle and hand passes it to Smith. Hand passes it across to Stanley. He's run down in a tackle by McCreary. Umpire calls play on. Ball bobbles its way inside forward 50 for the Cats. Close in and around it. In comes Ollie Henry. Can get a hand pass away. Long's there fighting with it for Bruin. It's Bruin that wins out. Both go to ground. It spills out the back, and McCreary's there to collect. Just shove it on his boot and get it as far away from defensive 50 as he can, except that Lawson Humphries is there to collect. A lot better of a kick is his one to Bailey Smith as he chips it to Smith, and goes inside forward 50. Henry rises, can't take the mark, gathers, collects, kicks, and bounces through. What a goal there. He didn't need to take the mark. He had time to collect and put it towards goal. His teammate on the line just let it bounce through as well. And it's another goal for Ollie Henry. That's his 4th. 4 goals for Ollie tonight. Geelong's lead is out to 48 points after 30 minutes in this final term. Geelong 17-14, 116. Collingwood 9-14, 68.
So he's had to go with his 4 goals too. So 6 shots on goal. I mentioned 1 didn't make the distance. He's had 7 shots on goal, 6 score involvements. 12 disposals. That's for a medium forward who's clearly not a small crumbing forward on a sort of wet-ish night. It's a fantastic game, isn't it?
And against his old side too. He'd be stiff not to feature in your votes, Prima. Just setting the scene.
Brian Myers in the VFL this afternoon. It's a healthy competition for the small forward spot in the Geelong forward line. Bailey Smith gets involved. Hand pass to Stanley. Miss Bruin with his hand pass. Ned Long gathers for Collingwood. Hand pass to the wing. Lipinski tries to knock it down. Bruin dumped in a tackle by McCreary. And the umpire will ball it up on the members' wing. Geelong by 48 points.
Bailey Smith up to 39 disposals. Needs one more. Get him there, boys.
It's been good.
Stanley tries to get it down. Warple lays the tackle. Where is he, Bailey Smith? Holmes gets the hand pass away to Dempsey. He's looking for one here. Holmes should get it forward, and possession number 40 for Bailey Smith. A hand pass forward to Dempsey. Knocked off it by Houston. O'Shea Mullen gathers. Hand pass to Max Holmes. The left half forward kick is smothered by Quainer. He desperately defends and lunges back after it. Hand pass to Houston. Pokes it over the top to Nick Dacos. He marks on his chest. Position number 29 coming up for him. He's had the company of O'Shea Mullen tonight, so had 28 the last time these two sides clashed. And let's pick up the wingers, chopped off by Shannon Neal, who takes the mark for the Cats. Sends a barrel inside 50. It bounces wide of
Smart.
Ollie Henry, knocks it onto Bowes, who dribbles it towards the goal mouth and dribbles through a goal. The Cats finish on a high. 11 goals to 4 in the second half as they prevail over the Magpies in Scott Pendlebury's record equaling game with Boomer Harvey, game 432. But it's the Cats by 54 points.
We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Cardinia Park.
The Cats led by 11 points at quarter time. There's 3 lead changes in the first quarter, but the Cats took control from that point onwards by 18 points at half-time, by 32 points at three-quarter time. They put 4 goals to 6 behinds in the third quarter and finished with 11 goals to 4 in the second half. The Cats 18-14, 122 to Collingwood 9-14, 68. The Cats with 7 of their last 9 against the Pies.
For our tradition, stand up and fight. It's always our ambition. Throughout the game to fight with all our might, because we're the mighty blue and white. And when the ball is bounced to the final bell, stand up and fight like hell.
In Tom Stewart's 200th game, the Cats are winners and they move to 6 wins and 3 losses. They jump up a spot to 5th on the AFL ladder. While the Magpies, they're 4 wins, 4 losses and a draw. And they'll slide towards the middle of the table in that top 10 position. 9 individual goal kickers for the Cats, in which Ollie Henry booted 4. 3 goals to Sean Manner, 2 goals to Jack Martin, to Shannon Neal and to Paddy Dangerfield alongside Brad Close, while the individual goal kickers were Jeremy Cameron, Jack Bowes and Ollie Dempsey. While for the Magpies, 3 goals to Dan McStay, 2 goals to Jack Buller, individuals to Josh Dacos, Schultz, Pendlebury and Angus Anderson. The Cats winners by 54 points in front of 83,166 fans on a night in which Scott Pendlebury equalled Brent Boomer Harvey for the most games played in the AFL, 432. It was the Cats who were far too strong by 54 points. Cal Sinclair and Boomer Harvey.
Yeah, well, they certainly were 11 goals to 4 second half. Collingwood didn't kick a goal in that third quarter. When we dissect it a little bit later, Cal, we'll just talk about the run in Geelong's legs. They just look so much more superior in terms of leg speed all around the ground. Now, some will argue that's an ageing list for Collingwood. Some will say that Geelong have just got faster players, but it was really evident tonight that they just moved the ball far superior in terms of speed on ball and put the Collingwood defenders under the pump. So the transition from defence to offence was unbelievable. They dropped their eyes. They played a fantastic brand of football. And I mentioned that second half, 11 goals to 4 and 9 goal kickers. Clinchy, you just mentioned that. It's a really big spread to take care of, and didn't rely on one. Cameron didn't kick 6. Dangerfield didn't have to kick 4 or 5. Ollie Henry kicked the 4 goals and was the leading goal kicker. But, pretty dominant performance by the Cats tonight.
I think Geelong have basically said to the competition, we're not going anywhere. They're building really, really good form. We'll touch on Collingwood a little bit later, but I think there's some concerns there. I don't really think they're probably in that sort of top 6 contention at all, to be honest, with the way they're playing. They seem a little bit disconnected. But Ollie Henry, for me, I just thought was absolutely outstanding. You read out his stats earlier. I think, 7 score involvements, 6 score involvements, along with his 4 goals. He was absolutely superb. And Bailey Smith, he just keeps delivering, this guy. I'm just completely amazed by...
He likes playing the Magpies, doesn't he?
He loves playing the Magpies, but he's just his running power and his engine. And you can think what you like of Bailey Smith, off the field, and we all know he's a little bit of a character, but once he crosses that white line, there's toughness when there's physicality, Bremer, but there's also toughness with gut running, and there wouldn't be a player in the competition that's as good at a gut runner as Bailey Smith at the moment. He does it for 4 quarters. He just never wavers his effort in that regard. So he was absolutely superb. I just love the spread of goal kickers. I think the really good teams going into the next chapter of the season, if they can get that really, really good spread and get exposure to a number of guys getting multiple shots on goal, is a real asset and skill set for them. Like Patrick Dangerfield, Bremer, we spoke about it, I just really like the role, and I really enjoy the fact he's sort of enjoying that role. They're preserving him beautifully. I reckon at the back end of the year, it wouldn't surprise me if they just inject him a little bit more at a centre clearance, just for a few minutes here and there. He hasn't probably got that body type or tank at the stage of his career to, run out those kind of big midfield minutes for 4 quarters.
He's such an impact player, isn't he? Going forward, he can just impact. We've seen him, when he launches at the football, he's so hard to stop. And the most important thing, he has to take a good defender.
Yeah.
He has to take a good defender, otherwise he's going to get on top of any opponent.
But even when he just goes for the ball at ground level, I've never seen 3 or 4 players are sort of going to him, and then Geelong players are getting free sort of around it. And you can't tackle this guy. He's just, he's superb. He wasn't today's best player, but he definitely played a role, had a real impact. Yeah. But obviously a good sign of respect here from the Geelong Footy Club, lining up for Pendlebury and his work. Clinchy, I'm doing your job for you, mate. Oz, come on.
Cats winners by 54 points. And Scott Pendlebury very much saying, well, Tom Stewart, you have your moment. Game 200 for you. It's unusual that a losing player is doing a television interview, but such is the occasion for Scott Pendlebury. And Tom Stewart gets his moment. 200 games for the Cats. A 5-time All-Australian, a premiership player, a 2-time best and fairest. He's one of the great mature age recruits for the Cats, having now played 200 games, having not debuted till after the age of 24. And the Magpies say, we'll honour Tom Stewart on a winning side, and maybe we'll hold it for Scott Pendlebury when he breaks Boomer's record in a couple of weeks' time.
And 21 touches for Tom Stewart tonight. Didn't play an outstanding game, and Geelong did quite well. Collingwood did quite well not letting him be the spare. But, it's a fitting game in the 200 games coming in the competition of a 24-year-old. Gee, well done.
You look at the players of his era, like a Nick Waston, who could have been an All-Australian, has never been an All-Australian, and yet Tom Stewart, Harris Andrews, those familiar names that have been regulars in the All-Australian side have been so consistent. The Cats moved to 6 wins and 3 losses. They've now won 7 of the past 9 fixtures between Collingwood and Geelong. And they make their way from the MCG with a date against the Brisbane Lions on Thursday night at the Gabba. So a good test for the Cats to see if they can back it up after the Brisbane Lions were able to get over the line against the Blues on Friday night.
Well, you want to attack the Brisbane Lions when you're in good form. Like the last 3 games, Cats have been absolutely superb. And I think if you're Brisbane, you're watching how they performed against Collingwood and you're going, all right, we're in for a serious game against these guys. I think Ryan Myers will be an interesting one, which we'll talk about later, Clinchy and Loz, whether or not Chris Scott decides to inject him back into the side.
Cats winners by 54 points as they make their way down to their change rooms. Let's join them with Poppy Penny.
Yeah, Tom Stewart leading them in with his kids. His daughter's looking a little bit weary. She's rubbing her eyes. I think it's probably past bedtime for the Stewart kids, but it looks like they are going to join the song. I reckon his daughter might have just woken up from a nap. She's looking a little bit sleepy, but worth it to be awake for this 54-point win for the Cats. They make their way into the rooms. A lot of happy faces. It's kind of taking their time to gather up into the circle as they get the kids in there and get ready. There's lots of photos being taken. Reece Stanley's son's in there as well. There's a lot of family in this room, so as we get ready, we're missing a few. There's some stragglers as they make their way down into the rooms. Lawson Humphrey comes into the circle as well as they wait for everybody. Here we go, the Cats.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. Hey, we are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played. Hey, our home or far away. Our batters flying high, from dawn to dark, down at the end of our
Cats 54-point winners tonight, and probably a little lacklustre version of the song, I think, but probably because there were some little kids in the circle too.
Thank you, Poppy. Felt a bit like that final quarter at stages. Geelong with 9 individual goal kickers as they were too good for Collingwood 54-point winners tonight. And we'll bring you some reaction from inside the Geelong rooms. The other interesting point, we might get Poppy to duck to the Collingwood rooms once we're done there, is to get an update on Darcy Moore. Didn't feature in the second half, out through concussion protocol after a head clash with O'Shane Mullen in that second quarter. So it'll be a bit of a nervous wait for the Irishman to try and see if the match review officer sees there's anything wrong with that head clash, but we'll talk about that in a few moments' time. The Cats and Cal and Boomer, their ability to put the foot down is probably the most impressive part. As Boomer may mention, 11 goals to 4 in the second half, but it was 4 goals to 6 behinds in the third quarter, and really Collingwood couldn't go with them.
It was the third quarter, wasn't it, really? 4 goals to zip, and not that Geelong really blew them at the ballpark, because they only kicked 4 goals themselves, but they had 17 inside 50s, the Pies, without scoring a goal. It's big inside 50s for not hitting the scoreboard, and at the end of the day, 32 points against Geelong. You're not coming back in the last quarter, and it was a big win in the end, and 11 goals to 4 in the second half. It was a dominant performance, and I don't know how many times Cal said it, but they were just over. They just ran over the top of them.
Yep, let's come back to that. Back down to the Geelong rooms, winners by 54 points. Poppy Penny.
Yeah, I'm downstairs with O'Shane Mullen. A huge job for you. What does the week look like when you know you're going to be tagging Nick Dacos?
Yeah, it was obviously pretty obvious, and it was something Scotty was pretty transparent on in his presser that I was going to be going to Nick. So I guess I had the experience of it last year. It's a pretty impossible task, completely taking him out of the game, but it's just trying to reduce his impact as much as possible. I guess we had a bit more of a focus this time of trying to get him going back to the way and try and get off him a bit and get a bit more offensive. So I feel like that worked pretty well for us.
Did you have an idea of what, I guess, a win would look like for you on him? Did you have a number of disposals you wanted to keep him to? Did you have sort of a disposal efficiency that you wanted to try and limit him to?
Yeah, well, Nick is that good of a player. Like, he's always going to find the ball. It is impossible to stop him finding it in the smallest spaces. He manages to get it, and he's so quick with it. So yeah, it is just about like reducing his running carry, especially his kicking. He links up so much their play. He's late for him, so there was a big focus on that. Just run with him.
There was a nice moment. I saw you both standing on the boundary line, and he looked at you and you looked at him, and he went, all right, come on, let's go. You two were waiting for each other on the bench. Yeah, we were. It was a pretty respectful contest.
He's a great guy. So we had a bit of a laugh about it. We knew each time he was going off, I was following him. And coming back on, he just had a quick look, I had a look, and we shared a little moment where we had a laugh. But yeah, it was a good contest and enjoyable one. It's nice to see the return of the tagger in the game a little bit, isn't it? Yeah, well, obviously I am only new to the game, I guess, so I don't know how impactful the tagger was, and I think the early 2000s was quite a big thing, maybe before that. So yeah, it's coming back, and I've been enjoying it. How pleasing is it to see Tom Stewart play his 200th game? What does he mean? He's standing next to us here. What does he mean to the club and to you and to this footy team? Yeah, Stewie, he's an inspiration to the club. He epitomises everything we're about. He's just an unbelievable human, and we all love him. Like all the boys sharing on the socials and everything, just how much he means to everyone, and super special occasion for him and his family. And yeah, we all just got around him and enjoy the occasion, and happy to get the win for him, and hopefully he has a nice weekend celebrating. We're down in the victorious Cats rooms, 54-point winners. I'm going to toss you upstairs to Cal Sinclair, Boomer Harvey, Matt Clinch and Lauren Borden.
Oscar Mullen, mate. Cal Sinclair here. Congratulations on a great win. And Boomer and I actually watched your match-up very, very closely. And, mate, congratulations on your effort. Regardless, Nick Dacos had 29 touches, but he had really little influence on the game, mate. So you did your job absolutely beautifully, and his disposal rate, Boomer's telling me, was 41%. So, mate, massive tick for you. Just in terms of, just got to get your comments just on, there's just a massive spread of goal kickers today. It must just be really pleasing to see guys like Jeremy Cameron and Neil. Yes, they've hit the scoreboard, but you guys don't need them to kick 5 or 6 goals a game. You've got a number of goal kickers out there. Henry kicked 4, Martin kicked 2, Close kicked 2. You must be proud of the spread of goal kickers that you're finding in your side.
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive positive for us because I guess Jeremy's such a big attacking threat along with Shannon up there. So if teams are putting focus on them, it's great to have other boys stepping up. Like Ollie Henry was massive this evening. I don't know what he finished with, but he was just popping up everywhere. Shawnee Mannett, Jack Martin, Odie coming in off the wing, Brad Close. So like all of them lads stepping up, it's so good for us in the midfield and down back. Just getting it in 50 knowing they get the job done.
Congratulations on a great performance individually and also collectively. You spoke, and I think you spoke really well when in the first part of the interview. I think you have to be Superman to stop Nick Dacos getting under 20 touches. Now, he has had the 29, and people could look at that and go, wow, but the efficiency rate that Cal just spoke about, that would have been a huge focus of yours. Can you give us an idea of the vision, or do you watch vision, number one? Being new to our game, are you a guy that will sit in front of the computer with the coaches and watch a lot of vision on Nick Dacos and how to stop him? Or do you just go and play your natural game?
I do a little bit, but not too much. I guess on the surface it's a pretty straightforward role. Just stay on the body and don't make it easy for him. Once they get it, just make sure they're under as much pressure as possible. So, just working off his back and trying to work him into the contest and under the ball. Like he's so dangerous if he gets out in open space, so trying to avoid letting him get goal side or back shoulder is probably the most important part of the role.
So you've come in, you've played a couple of small defensive roles on some really good forwards, and then you play on one of the elite runners in the competition. How's the body going to pull up tomorrow? Will it pull up a little bit different than just playing in the back 50?
I think I've adjusted a slight bit too. At this time last year when I first played them, it was a struggle to get out of bed the next day. The midfield minutes, my hips were not used to the mechanics of it all. But thankfully this year, doing a bit more inside in training and stuff like that, so it helps the body adjust a bit more. It won't be too bad, I think.
Brisbane Lions next week. It's going to be a very, very challenging game for you guys, but you're in absolute ripping form. You've got a fair bit of depth in your squad. Brian Myers was in the VFL today. I think you'd be pretty happy with how he played. Do you suspect that he might be an inclusion in next week's team, considering what he's gone through the last month?
Yeah, Brian, I think he got 3 quarters in today. Seen a bit of it, and he got through it very well, which is great to see. So obviously that decision is up to the coaches. I won't be picking the team next weekend, so you'll have to ask Scotty about that. But if he is back, it'll be a massive boost for us. He's an amazing player and an integral part of our team and game plan, so it would be great to see him back if he is.
As we let you go, Oisin, do you have a number you try and kick Nick Dacos to under in your mind as to what you're sort of targeting?
That's just as low as possible. The lower the better, I guess, but you can't get too bogged down in it because he'll disappoint you how he manages to find it.
You were superb, mate. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Congratulations on the win. Oisin Mullen joining us. He did the job on Nick Dacos tonight, kept him to 29 disposals. He racked up 21 himself, and it's a big part always is to try and negate Collingwood. And Boomer, for so much of your career, you had the company of a tagger. It can take you off your game and make such an impact for the opposing side.
It's a great role that he played, and you just said 21 disposals himself, so he actually went and found the ball. The guys that you didn't really like playing on is when they keep you to 20 and they have 3 and you just go, mate, go and find the ball as well. But he had a fine balance. He had a really good balance of doing that. Cal, we spoke at the start of the game that Nick Dacos was going to have 25 regardless. No matter who he plays on,
you said that. Yep.
Well, he's going to do that every week, isn't he?
Yep.
It's 41% kicking efficiency. We don't see that very often because he's a star. He in my eyes, he's in the top 3 players in the competition by a long way. So just to negate him, and I think there's a huge role for taggers in our game to go to the best players. Yes, they are still going to get the ball. They're still going to have their clearances. But if you're just tugging on the back of their jumper and they're getting these silly little handballs versus running 5 metres and kicking the ball inside forward 50, I think it's a huge thing.
Do you think that Collingwood have got enough depth in that midfield at the moment? Because if Nick Dacos isn't, getting 30-plus touches and, having a lot better efficiency than what he would have had tonight, if he's not dominating the game, Tagoe, great player. He's in and out, though. Let's just be honest. You're not sure what you're going to get with him. Like Josh Dacos playing a little bit in defence. Like
on the wing a little bit too.
On the wing a bit too. So, I don't know. Part of me is just questioning their sort of midfield depth at the moment. If he's not absolutely dominating, where does that sort of leave them?
Well, they're trying to get a little bit of speed on there as well. And Bo McCreary, we've seen him in the centre bounce a fair bit, but we also see Geelong kick a lot of goals from centre bounces tonight. So is it because he hasn't done a lot of work, or we haven't seen him? Yes, probably at training, but that's different to playing in games under the heat. So have they got the depth? Have they got? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Have they got anybody out that comes into that team?
Well, Harry Di Matteo, he came back from a significant back stress issue through the VFL today, yet to actually debut for Collingwood, but first round draft pick. They've got high hopes for him. He was pretty serviceable, Clinchy, I thought, in the VFL today, so probably will take some time to get in there. But just looking at the overall depth in that midfield mix, like Steele and Pendles, you can throw them in there, inject them in a little bit of time. Ned Long, yes.
A bit more forward, Ned Long.
Yeah, exactly right. So, I don't know. It was just telling this, particularly the first 5 minutes of the third quarter and the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. Like, centre bounce, they got absolutely smashed and very convincingly. Like, it was getting walked out.
Did Allen play in the VFL today?
Played in the VFL
How'd he go?
Yeah, no, I thought he was okay.
He's a big-bodied mid as well, someone that they can certainly throw through there.
Exactly right. So, Angus Anderson, he's sort of still finding his way. So there's a number of guys they need to get games into, guys, in that squad. But if they get a couple of injuries on their current squad, I don't know, like Collingwood fall off pretty quickly, in my opinion.
Ed Allen was Collingwood's best in the VFL today with 32 disposals. Membry and Perryman are the two are out with injuries at the moment, both with hamstrings. Tim Membry's 2 to 3. Harry Perryman's probably a bit longer than that. And Reef McInnes out for the season. But apart from that, there's not a lot. They got Lockie Sullivan in the concussion protocol. Darcy Cameron was able to get up to play tonight. But
he looks sore.
Yeah, Pendlebury and McCreary. And Howe returning, probably not missing too much from their best side, but Jordan Agoa had his best game for the season, 30 disposals, including 9 contested possessions, 3 clearances and 9 inside 50s. But last week against the Hawks, he was able to kick 2 goals in the first quarter, really opened up their scoring prowess. But their small forwards weren't as damaging tonight. Jamie Elliott didn't hit the scoreboard. Trying to get more out of Lockie Schultz. He kicked a goal in the final term, and probably the tall targets, and McStay with 3 goals and Buller with 2. They tried admirably.
Just on the small forward situation for Collingwood, they didn't have a massive impact, but that's why the importance of, and this is probably a good thing to chat about now, that's why the importance of a key position player is really, really important, because those guys, they bring the ball to ground and they actually help bring those guys into the game. Unless you've got amazing ball use and you're really clean inside 50, kind of like Hawthorn are, okay, you might not need, you can get away with a Gunston sort of type, and Mitchell's finding his way back, which is a bit of a different story. But you made the point, Mychek and Cox gone from that team. It actually, by them not being there, it actually takes away something from the small forwards a little bit. So the small forwards need a lot to go their way, and they need a lot more opportunity with more efficient ball use from Collingwood, which they actually just don't really have at the moment.
And I don't know if it was on the back of Geelong setting up really well, because a lot of the times Collingwood looked up the ground and there was a visual of a couple of spares, and you only need a visual of one and think, I can't kick there. But when you got Mason Cox there, you see it, he's so big, you kick to him and then brings it to the ground, and that comes into your point. That's when Elliott and McCreary and these guys can go to work. So I think it's both hand in hand.
They have to play a little bit taller at the moment for what they are. So I think that you are right. I thought Geelong were superb defensively, but you just see the difference though. Like Neil can just, and even Cameron can just danger. We said make a contest in the air, and there's a few ground ball goals that they sort of got. So
and I don't want to be disrespectful to anyone, but you look up and you see the Collingwood forward line, and Jamie Elliott's one of them. He's not much taller than me. So you've got him. Who kicked the goals tonight where's the goals?
4 for Ollie Henry, 3 to Sean Madden.
Sorry, for the Pies.
For the Pies, 3 for McStay.
McStay, sorry, that's the name I was looking for. So you got McStay and Elliott sitting up there versus, let's go up the other end. You got Cameron, Neil, Dangerfield. Even the visual that I'm going to kick the ball in long and deep because something's probably going to happen here.
That's right.
And then you got Henry who can play small, play tall, who's a medium.
So the second time this season Collingwood have conceded over 100 points, so their defence has normally been their pride of place. 119 points they conceded against the Brisbane Lions, but so much of Collingwood's game plan requires that pressure, that ability to pressure up the ground and then try and get quick opportunities inside forward 50, and they really struggle with that tonight. Geelong with 11 goals to 4 in the second half, and the other part is they managed to kick goals early to start the third in the fourth quarter. So as the Pies were trying to start some sort of progress and chip into the lead, Geelong were able to really release a lot of that pressure with just constant scores that were able to be delivered.
It was quick too, wasn't it? Last quarter, 1 minute mark, 2 minute mark. The third quarter was a minute straight centre bounce goal. Last quarter, centre bounce goal, centre bounce goal.
I'd love to see some GPS data actually wouldn't, to be honest. But it'd be a fascinating discussion point for what we're going through now. But the running power of Geelong was absolutely superb. They just looked like a different class and level to where Collingwood were. I actually noticed it in the back end of probably the second quarter. They played they get their forwards up really, really, really high. So when they actually do win the ball back, they've actually had nothing to look at for a long period of time. They seem to set things up a little bit differently towards the rest of the game, and they found opportunities to get marks inside 50 a little bit better. But I don't know, Bremer, I'm assuming you felt the same way, that they just sort of, I don't know what it was. They had no real running power. They had no real energy. Don't know if it was a fatigue matter, but it's not being disrespectful at all. Geelong were superb with how they structurally set up the ground, but it just felt like they just couldn't get any pace or run in the game.
And you probably brought it to my attention after one of the goals that they transitioned from the very last goal line. You looked up and some of the Collingwood midfielders were still behind centre.
Yeah.
And you look up and you go, oh, wow. And Geelong had transitioned that ball so quick. So, again, let's take nothing away from Geelong in this as well, because their transition from defence to offence was absolutely superb on about 4 or 5 occasions where they took the ball full length of ground and were able to get the ball behind the deepest Collingwood player to an easy target. And that's what we spoke about, easy goals. They're not easy goals because the ball movement was sensational, but it was an easy goal in the end.
Might be a good conversation, actually. And I don't like utilising other people's networks' talent, but Brian Taylor actually made a comment. He thinks Collingwood are like secretly rebuilding. And he thinks that where they're at the moment, they're not that they're comfortable with where they're at, but they're realistic and they understand where they're at the moment. They're not prepared to sort of bottom out. They're prepared to hang in, I guess, the logjam of the competition between sort of, 12 and 6 in the competition. I don't know if anyone else feels that in the room, but
hold fire on that. We'll come back to that. Geelong winners by 54 points, because I think Poppy Penny has made her way to the Collingwood rooms to bring us some reaction. Poppy.
Yeah, I have made my way to the Collingwood rooms. It's actually probably more upbeat than you might have thought down here. Somebody did just have to tell everyone to be a bit quiet. The players have just jumped into a meeting to discuss the game. Obviously, we are going to try and get someone to speak to us after that meeting. Jax Pendlebury's hopping around on a pair of crutches, Scott Pendlebury's son, so I don't know what he's done. But I do have an update on Darcy Moore, and that is that he obviously has concussion. He'll miss next week, but he stayed for the rest of the game, even though he did stay downstairs in the rooms. But he did stay for the rest of the game. They say he is okay and he's in pretty good spirits. So it's probably the best case scenario that you can hope for after a concussion.
Thanks, Poppy. We'll hopefully bring you some reaction from the Collingwood rooms. Yeah, Darcy Moore just can't take a trick. So far this season, the Collingwood captain featured in opening round, but then was out for a few games through injury and had featured for the last couple, and Collingwood rely so much on their key pillars. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Some of your thoughts. Justin from Clifton Hill. Cats have a talent margin over the Pies, but as a Pies fan, Collingwood don't attack the goals enough inside 50 marking zones. They suffer rebound goals far too often.
Well, 59 inside 50 to the Pies, 52 to the Cats.
Wow.
So 7+ inside 50s, and you go down by 54 points. That's I think there was one stage, that second quarter I mentioned 17 inside 50s for no goals. That doesn't help your efficiency rate, Cal.
No, but there was no movement ahead of the ball. Like many times from a visual perspective, you just saw when they look up, when they actually did have numbers, it just didn't look like that they actually had any method of ball movement. No one was leading up. They were just sort of, it was a kick and hope job tonight, I felt like, for them, and they just felt like when they did get goals, I'll tell you what, they were very difficult to get. How many times as a call team did we see Geelong just spotting up numbers literally every night. There was more Geelong players than Seagulls out there at the moment. So it was a masterclass on offence and defence from Geelong, I thought.
And the Cats do cover their defence so well. Marcus in South Melbourne asks, is Oisin Mullen now the Cameron Ling / Ryan Crowley class of seriously good taggers, Boomer?
Yeah, well, I certainly think I've seen him do some really good jobs. You know what? It was on Harry Sheasel last week, and I know Sheasel end up having, I'm going to say 20-odd touches, but very little to no impact on the game. And you don't see that very often with Harry Sheasel. Then you go up to again, one of the best players in the competition, Nick Dacos. Have the Pies played the Bulldogs yet? It'd be interesting to see how he went up against a bigger body in a Marcus Bontempelli type.
In a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks. So if he's in good form still and Bont, who's flying, it would be interesting to see if he can actually do the same sort of role against a bigger player. I know Bont would take him forward, but I don't know if he'd play on him down back. That would have to be a handover. But that would be interesting. But I think he's in sensational form. Just the pressure and he spoke about it as well. Don't really worry about the number that he gets, just the pressure that he puts on the player. And I thought that was a fantastic answer.
And Rich from Ocean Grove on 0437 774 774. Loving the call. Just wondering, given Moore's concussion, does Oisin Mullen have something to worry about? What did you think about the head clash?
Don't think so. I'm just trying to get a visual in my mind. It seemed
coming from different directions. It was more of a head clash.
It seemed pretty fair. I'd be, if it hit the shoulder, Boomer, I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be a conversation had. I think you'd probably like to see him get a fine for it at worst, to be honest.
I don't even think it's a fine. I think the ball was right in the middle. Both players went exactly the same way. He might have turned a little bit. Mullen might have turned a little bit more, and Darcy went front on. I think there's a grey area in this, and this is and I've heard one of the commentators say this during the week. It is a footy act. We've got to be really careful of just giving fines for jumper punches or punching in general.
Based on history, you'll get a fine though, wouldn't
you? You would think so. You would think so. I would like no fine. I think that's a footy act. Balls in the middle. Well done. Great collision. Yep.
Sorry, I need to correct Oisin Mullen and the Western Bulldogs. They played a couple of weeks ago. Bulldogs had Geelong had a big win. Oisin Mullen was on Bontempelli. I think he only got 14, 15 disposals.
Oh, there you go. So he can do the job on those bigger mids as well. Yeah. I actually remember that game now, so I should have known that as well, Loz. I apologise.
And you point out the door.
Yeah. But no, he's a star. I think he's a kid that's been in the game for a very short period of time and still learning the caper, and to go and play on the best players is going to fast-track his career in terms of knowledge like no tomorrow.
And you can't survive, actually. You can't survive in today's modern game being a tagger and not actually finding the footy yourself.
Yep.
Maybe back in your heyday when you were, I guess, copping that every single week, like you could probably get away with one player in the team sort of doing that and not having any influence offensively. But the way the game and the transition part of it, the good thing about a player like Oisin Mullen is that these guns will actually take him to the footy, so he'll find himself with plenty of opportunities to touch it.
So he's certainly a player to watch, Oisin Mullen, in his role that he plays for the Cats. Winners by 54 points over the Magpies at the MCG. 18-14, 122 to the Pies, 9-14, 68 in front of 83,166 fans. It was a night for Ollie Henry against his former side. He booted 4 goals, 3 goals to Sean Matter and 2 goals to Shannon Neal and to Patrick Dangerfield. While for the Magpies, 3 goals to Dan McStay and 2 goals to Jack Buller. Bailey Smith with a career high for him, with a season high, 40 disposals, including 6 clearances and 6 inside 50s. Well, on the top end, it was the Gold Coast Suns who made it 9 consecutive wins in Darwin, a 29-point win over the Saints. 13-11-89 to St Kilda, 8-12-60. That's after the Saints led at quarter time by 25 points. The Gold Coast Suns led by 10 points at half time, by 14 points. The Suns at three-quarter time, and they ended up running out 29-point winners. So Ben King led the way with 4 goals for the Gold Coast Suns, while Darcy Wilson booted 4 as well. So his name continues to get raised in terms of other clubs interested in finding out what his future might be. But the battle of the 2 clubs who have fought over academies and father-son selections, it was the Suns who got the bragging rights in the top end. Patrick Dangerfield, how'd you see his night, the Geelong captain? It feels like he's just slowly building. You posed the question throughout the call. Cal, does he still have one of those games where he can go into the midfield and have sort of an explosive game? And I guess in the way Geelong's structure, they probably just want to try and get him throughout the season. If he can be a contributor inside that forward 50, he's always going to take a good defender.
Oh, he certainly does. And we commented tonight throughout the call that whenever Boomer actually made the comment, you never see a player fight harder at ground level when the ball hits the deck than Patrick Dangerfield. He's just one of those players that just attracts attention. So he's so hard to tackle that when he actually gets it in those sort of forward 50 pressure moments, he draws so many players to him, and then you just find that other Geelong players just get a little bit of freedom and they have an ability to find space. He can actually still hold and control the ball. So he might have a game or two in him where he'll have to play some midfield minutes, but I think as the season goes on, I think they're managing him really, really well, Boomer, don't you think? He's just... the great thing about him, he's always been able to sort of play forward and hit the scoreboard. I think if Geelong were struggling this year and they're in the kind of the bottom section of the ladder and not playing the footy that they are, that's when I think that role you really, really struggle in. But he's getting plenty of opportunities. 2 goals tonight, great reward for effort, but he just is so intense. When that ball comes near him, you just can't help but be drawn, and you have to give him attention. You just can't neglect him.
And I totally agree, Cal. Players draw to him, so it's an easy option straight out and brings other people into the game. I think he's a really big impact player. And when I say impact player, he had a really poor first quarter against North Melbourne last week, and then there was 4 minutes where he just went bang, 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 and it just looked like he was going to tear the game apart. He's one of those players that has the ability to do that at any stage of the game. He could have a quiet 3 quarters and then kick 3 or 4 in the last quarter just through the brutality that he plays. And we mentioned on the deck, he picks up the ball and people are hanging on to him. He still just finds a way of getting rid of it. But then he's so strong and he's got those big arms that just close on the football. He attracts people. He attracts a good defender. So that frees somebody else up again. No, I think he's one of the better impact players in the competition still.
It's a good mix they've got up forward. Cameron Neal, who's going to be the focal, he's been demanding that the forward line's his and giving Cameron some freedom to go up the ground and fire a little bit of footy. Henry can play both small and tall, and then Danger. And then you've got Brian Myers sitting there.
Throwing a little Jack Martin.
Jack Martin's a manner.
Yeah, and if Stengel was sort of fit and firing and around the club at the moment, they'd have a big selection drummer up forward, to be honest. They'd be firing.
So Martin 2 goals, Manor 3 goals. You get 5 out of your smaller type of players. They got some potent forwards. Absolutely,
it's the opposite to what Collingwood have got at the moment. So a little bit to think about for the Collingwood list management moving forward, I'd say.
So they have thoughts on Geelong. Where do you sort of have these two sides? Sort of Cats now are up to 5th spot on the AFL ladder, 6 wins and 3 losses. It doesn't feel like they're sort of in that conversation with the best sides. Fremantle, Sydney, Brisbane are the team on the move at the moment, and maybe Hawthorn. Can you see them improving throughout the second half of the season? They are one of the older sides, so you'd imagine having featured in the grand final last year, they know what's required, but do they have the top-end talent to get back there?
I don't see them in the top couple. I know when they play at Cardinia Park, they're going to beat the majority of teams, so they'll have a lot of home games. They're definitely in the 6 for me. I don't see them dropping out of the 6. And when you say they'll drop out the 6, they're just going to embarrass you, because we've been saying it for about 8 years. I think they're a top 6 team, and certainly a top 8 team without even question, but top 6 for me.
I've ridden them off and been made to look like a fool many times. So I from moving forward, I never write off Geelong. It wouldn't surprise me if they pinched a top 4 spot. You just never know with clubs and injuries and things fall away. But in terms of Collingwood, I think I made the comment before we went down to Poppy. There are people out there saying, are they in a silent rebuild? Not prepared to bottom out, but I don't necessarily disagree with that. I'm kind of looking at their list at the moment, looking at sort of the players and the age profile that they've got, the lack of sort of, a big key forward. They've probably got some decisions they've got to make. They'll be thereabouts. They might pinch a final at best. You just never know. But I think after tonight, they'll probably dissect that game tonight and go, wow, we're actually a mile off it. Our physicality, our energy, our run was really, really ordinary. Our ball use going inside 50 is just pretty non-existent. It was patchy. We had a couple of half-decent passages of play at time, but I don't know if, Jack Buller, he's 199 centimetres, probably get some more games into him, but, he's going to take some time. I reckon it was a really disappointing night, so I reckon there might be a few questions asked to the the Collingwood players, like, how did we actually show up and how did we feel out there? Like, they just didn't feel like there was any run or injection of pace, particularly for about 2.5 quarters.
So he did quite well with that answer, Clinchy, but he didn't answer it.
He didn't.
Where do you think they're going to finish?
I reckon wild card at best.
Wild card at best.
Yep.
So that's the question at the moment when you look at the sides inside the top 8 for the moment. Sydney on top, Fremantle, Hawthorn, Brisbane, Geelong, Gold Coast Suns. So other Cats a better side than the Suns, maybe not talent-wise, but they are on the ladder for the moment. Melbourne, who play tomorrow against the West Coast Eagles, the Bulldogs, Collingwood and St Kilda make up the top 10. So the sides that are challenging Collingwood for that spot at the moment are North Melbourne, Adelaide, the Giants and Port Adelaide. I think we probably rule a line through the teams from 15th onwards, the Eagles, the Blues, the Bombers and the Tigers. So, well, the question for Collingwood is if they got someone like a Zach Butters, do they have the money to offer someone like that? Then they'd have to make decisions on the likes of Scott Pendlebury, Jeremy Howe, Steele Sidebottom. Could they get a Ben King from the Gold Coast Suns if they have the money? But salary cap is going to be such a big issue for the Magpies.
I'll use the Sydney Swans as an example. So they've got Charlie Curnow in, and I've had many debates with friends and family about this. I don't like Charlie Curnow is obviously a great player. Is he necessarily what the Swans actually need with how they move the ball? I say no. He's actually not what they need. Very, very good player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be sort of disrespectful in any shape or form, but it's the way that you move the ball and you enter inside 50. When he was at Carlton, he had so many opportunities because they needed the ball in his hand to actually kick a half-decent score. When you go to a team that's got really, really strong method of ball movement, clean inside 50s, a real spread of goal kickers, like these big brute forwards, sometimes it goes against you when you go and pay someone all that sort of money. So if I was Collingwood, I'd be first going, yep, we do need a key position player, it's a non-negotiable, but let's actually work at the actual method and how do we actually want to play when the ball goes inside of 50? Because at tonight, you watch it and you're like, oh, it's just a little bit clunky. It just didn't feel like anyone was on the same page.
A real short answer from me, I think they need both. I think they need another really good midfielder, and I think they need a target up forward. And whether they've got enough money to go out and get King and Butters, I wouldn't have thought so. No. I don't think any team's got that money in the budget. Maybe Tasmania in their first year when they come out.
Well, they'd have to give up a player or two, wouldn't they? They'd have to look at someone who would have currency, and they don't have that many.
It's a big decision. You've got a 36-year-old and a 35-year-old who have been absolute superstars for your club. Even then, you still not be able to squeeze it. Not to create a headline here, but is that a difficult decision that Collingwood make at the end of the year to maybe get something like Boomer's just said?
Geelong 54-point winners over the Magpies tonight at the MCG. The votes in the ABC Football of the Year still to come. Boomer, when you played the game that equalled the record with Michael Tuck, game 426, can you remember? Were you a winner on that night?
Not to big note here. I won every milestone.
Do you remember who you played?
That was it? No, it wasn't St Kilda.
Played the Magpies.
Yes, so we won.
You won. So won every milestone game.
Yep, won, including my first game, except for my last game.
But not game 432. There's a great stat from Says Swamp Thing.
We didn't. We got beaten by 80-odd points in my last game.
Yes, so game 432, according to Says Swamp Thing, has the worst record of any VAFL career game with an average losing margin of 58 points.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You had a 40-point win on the night. You equalled the record with Michael Tuck. So what would tonight be like for Scott Pendlebury? It's a lot of attention on him, and it hasn't gone the way. We know he's going to sit out the game against the Sydney Swans at the SCG on Friday night and then turn his attention to breaking your record against the West Coast Eagles at the G.
If I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a pain in the backside for him. That week that I broke the record was the biggest week of my life in terms of any type of media. I made the mistake of going out for dinner on a Tuesday night with my wife and my children, and I shouldn't have went because I was outside the whole night doing interviews on the phone, come in and ate and did another interview on the way home. Now, what he has done by not playing next week is stretch it out for a fortnight, and it is exhausting. All I wanted to do was play the bloody game, and I know they got to do it in front of the home crowd. I understand all that romance part about football, but he has stretched it out now for a fortnight instead of 7 days, and he will be over himself. Like it is, every channel you turn on, you're on. Every radio you hear, people are talking about it. Every paper you pick up, it is you, and you get over yourself. And unfortunately for Scott, he's got 14 days of it now, which is good for me because I'm still the record holder for 14 more days.
So when you speak to him potentially early next week and he says to you, Boomer, what do you reckon? Should I go on next year? Every player wants to keep going, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, the short answer is, as a selfish point of view and as a player, the answer is yes. I'd made it pretty clear that I wanted to go on. I thought my footy was still speaking for itself. I think I finished 5th in the best and fairest that year and kicked a career high 36 goals in my last season. So I thought my footy said that, and I made it clear that I wanted to go on. But I didn't. So it doesn't matter too much. And Collingwood make a decision around... it depends how they handle it. Maybe they look at history and... I don't know. Maybe they say North Melbourne didn't handle it as good as they should have. Or maybe they said North Melbourne did it as good as they should have. And they'll make a decision around what Scott does next year. But I think they'll leave it more to Scott than the football club, to be honest with you.
I think Scott's a rare case that, as you said, mate, some guys get that opportunity to call it on their own terms, but it never ends well for anyone. You know what I mean? And I spoke to a lot of actually past players, and I didn't have the career that that Boomer had by any stretch of the imagination. But there is a reality, like no one really gets the ending on their own terms, Boomer.
Not too many.
No, the best fantasy that we've ever seen, in my opinion, was Joel Selwood in the 2022 Grand Final. That's like 1 in a million.
Yep.
Everyone's either ending their careers with an injury, you're being told to pack your bags and nick off, you call it yourself because your body's cooked or whatever it is. But I think in this game, you just never get it your own way when it ends. Respect for even Boomer, he had it a rough way. But it just, it's how it works, unfortunately.
I think with the 5 on the bench, I know the sub would have been similar. With 5 on the bench, maybe that changes a little bit and you can have him there as coming on in the second half of quarters. We know he's a coach on the field. We know that. So maybe there's some merit around going around again and being the coach on the field, coming on in the second half of quarters, a bit fresher, sort of like a sub in some ways, but using it every quarter. I don't know. Maybe it's definitely worth exploring. And I'm sure Collingwood will make the right decision around what they think's best for them and Pendles.
It won't be a question of like his preparation, his competitiveness, or
Correct.
how he takes care of his body or his ability to play. It'll just be probably more where the team's at. The team's going well back in the second half of this year, which at the moment they're not.
That's the only thing. That's the big thing.
That's the question.
Can we afford to carry a couple of older guys? And our leg speed didn't look great tonight. There's a few
done
things
that
like
for a couple of years now, let's be honest. Yeah.
I feel like we've tortured you, Boomer, tonight, so thanks for enjoying us.
Thanks, guys.
The 3, 2, 1 for the ABC Footballer of the Year.
I think I'm doing it. Yep.
You've got the
Okay.
hand pass.
We went one with Max Holmes, 33 disposals. He's just accumulated. Just keeps racking up the football. Had 7 rebound 50s, which I thought was fantastic, and 7 scoring involvements. So he got the 1 vote. Ollie Henry, 4 goals for the game. 7 shots on goal though. He kicked 4-2, and 1 didn't make the distance, and had the 12 disposals. And the 3 votes, we went with Bailey Smith. Just consistency over the whole 4 quarters. 40 disposals, 14 contested possessions, 6 inside 50s, and 14 score involvements. I thought, at the end of the day, he was the best player on the ground by a little bit. 3 to Bailey Smith, 2 to Ollie Henry, 1 to Max Holmes in the ABC Football of the Year from Boomer Harvey. Geelong 54-point winners, spoiling the party for Scott Pendlebury as he joined Boomer, equaling the all-time games VFL AFL record. Boomer, thanks for joining us tonight. We've loved it. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks, I think. We will indeed. Thank you, Cal. Big shift from you.
It's been a big day, Clinchy.
I won't follow you home. You've got a good piece of quiet from me.
We've been dreaming about you tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Loz. Thanks to Poppy Penny. Thanks to Craig Davis, who's talk about marathon shifts. He's put in one. And to Leo Keefe at the back of the box. Don't forget AFL Sunday kicks off tomorrow with myself and Cameron Ling. We'll take you through all the events of round 9. The Cats, winners by 54 points. Good night from the MCG.